Hello everybody and welcome back to Val Verde Broadcasting. We're back with another commentary, this time for Star Wars 2, The Empire Strikes Back. I'm Richard Jackson, I'm a director of photography guy that's got a proper job title. I'm one of those. And this is actor of stage and screen and producer Duncan Casey. Say hello, Duncan.
Hello, Duncan. That's two Ronnie's thing.
That's. I'm going to call it vintage out of kindness.
Right.
We're going to watch. As you all know, we watched Star Wars 1, the first Star Wars, directed by Jorge Lucas last time. So we thought, why not? We'll carry on with Star Wars 2, The Empire Strikes Back. We did do this once as a watch party in lockdown, but we kind of figured this is a bit of a different format, and it seemed sensible. The Mandalorian's coming back. Soon.
Oh yes, yeah.
So Star Wars is in the kind of cultural, zeitgeist. So we'd do Star Wars 2. So should we crack on? We're not gonna fuck about. We're gonna get on and watch Star Wars 2.
We shall.
Okay. So we're watching the version that's hosted on Disney Plus. I'm sure many of you have many versions of Star Wars 2 at home, but this is the one on Disney Plus. So if you go in with us, we're gonna watch Star Wars 2. So, I'm going to count you from 3, Duncan. Is that all right? What is that you're sipping today, Duncan?
I'm drinking a martini that was just terribly, I hadn't intended to drink today, but then my wife was busy polishing off the bottle of scotch that we have in the cupboard. So, like a pair of Alkies on a Wednesday night, we decided to have
I've been avoiding midweek drinking, but
so
I'm having Hortus
right.
passion fruit vanilla gin liqueur because that was at the front of the cupboard.
Right, yeah.
That's from Lidl.
So for all my pretension of like not drinking in the week, which I haven't been, and I've actually been feeling a lot better and enjoying not drinking and sleeping as a result. Our daughter has decided to wake herself up usually around about 5 o'clock every morning now, screaming her head off, and intermittently throughout the night, which she never used to. So as far as the kind of sleep angle is concerned, I figure that's out the window, so it doesn't really matter anymore. So that's
fuck it. All right,
fuck
well, there you go. There's a depressing view. It's a depressing view into our lives.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to count from 5, and then
very good. It's gone up
5,
to 5.
4, 3, 2, 1, go, and then we'll do Star Wars. Okay. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Well, I've never seen this before.
Haven't you? It's funny you started from 5 because this is episode 5. It's not. It's fucking not. It's Star Wars 2.
It's Star Wars 2. I think it's quite fun. Do you know, looking at the kind of marketing for the sequels, they binned off the episodic thing, didn't they? Not completely, of course. It said it in the opening crawl, but it was like Star Wars: The Force Awakens. It wasn't Star Wars, like in all the posters and shit like that.
Right? Yeah.
And I think that was just, they were trying to divest themselves of prequelness,
right?
In every sense, I guess, because they were advertised as Episode 1, Episode 2. Star Wars Episode 1 in particular was Star Wars Episode 1.
That's true. And it is weird because Star Wars Episode 1 is like, this is where it starts, is it? Like, I mean, because you don't. Once you say this is Episode 1, it's like, well, is it? Like, because there's nothing that can happen before that,
Yeah,
but,
true.
Yeah. I've realised that the last time I watched this was also silent because we were doing the live stream. I haven't watched this properly for a long time, and I must remedy that because it's very good.
I will have watched it. I've 100% watched it. Let's say, I suppose in the last 6 or 7 years, I will have done. I must have done. I think Ivan and I perhaps watched it, but yeah, you're right. Last time I did it was on lockdown, with you, drunk probably and quiet, with all you fine folks at home watching live. So,
interesting.
So much of the Star Wars things come from this, don't they?
This to me is the best. Yeah, I mean, this is I would say, the best Star Wars.
Well, hold on a minute there, Duncan. Hold on a minute.
Holding on.
Because what we talked about Return of the Jedi, or Rotja to real fans, and did we not say? I think we both love this and Jedi a lot, right? I think Jedi's probably my favourite.
Okay. But, yeah.
I think the discussion was, and I think I said this before, Jedi's my favourite, but this is the best film.
Well, that's a valid thing. It's a
better film.
That's totally a valid thing. I mean, I've said that about this. There's Bond film, like Tomorrow Never Dies is my favourite Bond film, but Casino Royale, From Russia with Love, those are objectively better films. But it's just my favourite. And fuck off.
Get fucked.
So, but no, I totally take your point. And do you know what? I think for me, for you, like Jedi is just less consistent in terms of pacing, but the end,
it's weirdly paced. Yeah,
the last act, the big space battle final act is just incredible. But this. I mean, this lulls in the middle too. Let's be honest. They're both sort of like bookended.
Yeah. I mean, this has. I'd argue the kind of the slow middle of this is more interesting because it's kind of the Luke stuff but yeah, they kind of I like Jedi's my favorite. I just love it and it's so cathartic. This is a better film by most metrics. Yeah, and it's great. Like I think this is the thing. And again, I say this. I won't bang on this drum too much. I'm going to say it, but there's some really good genre space opera films that were made in the 70s and 80s. Like that's what it was. It's not your fucking religion, ironically. But yeah, because poor old Mark Hamill had his fucking face destroyed in a car crash and reconstructed. So
that's right. So they brought in the Wampa, which to my mind,
but they show his face
Wampa
first. So it's like, well, we can see it's not him.
We can see he's weirdly been mauled by some sort of. I love the way his is it a tauntaun is just sort of shaking its head and blinking its eyes. And now I'm gonna die now. By the way, just the first sort of few minutes of this, my audio may have been a bit peaky, and I apologise.
Bastard.
Yeah, bastard. So to me, the tauntaun is just a misunderstood Viking. He's in the Arctic. Well, he's sort of it's just that he's got that look on his face, especially in the special edition
How
where he
much
sort of
have you been drinking?
Not enough. There's that bit the bit where he stands up from what I assume to be cooking lingonberries and turns around to him and says.
Lingonberries.
I say it's been a long time since I watched this with the sound on, but I think that he turns up. Doesn't he stand up at one point and says, "How are you? I found you in the ice, and you looked like your face had been reconstructed."
The tauntaun says that.
Put down your light sword. No,
light sword.
Sword.
You might. I think that's the broad strokes of it. Yeah,
but it's something. I mean, I had the captions on, but whatever. I will say this. No,
I can't read.
I'm being stupid.
I want to read.
Yeah. So the visuals of it. I remember. So when we did the live stream, what really struck me, and I was watching it on my freaking iPad, and it's like the visuals and the light, the cinematography in this is just fucking amazing.
It's unreal, particularly compared to like when you watch Star Wars 1.
Yeah.
It's really flat. Like it's amazing, but like in the Death Star, and I appreciate that is the environment, but it's really flat lighting. Like it's just that, like they kind of roll off and the shadows across their face, and light from the screens and stuff, and hitting the smoke just piping out in the background everywhere in the Hoth base. It's fucking lush. I mean, it looks like an Oscar-winning movie, which is what it is,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good because that's what puts it. I think that's what pushes it up. Like, and it's really, really nice, subtle, reactive, motivated lighting. It's fucking great, and the production, like, it's just such an uptick. You can see that, see how much the first one made, because clearly, it's
that's it. But it's interesting that it seems to be suddenly taking itself very seriously. Whereas the first one, arguably, I think the first one was edited to take itself seriously, but this one, I mean, and don't get me wrong, this one still has that. Joie de vivre or whatever, about it, especially, and that largely comes from Harrison Ford, but there's, it just seems to have a much more serious tone to it. It's just, it's a proper record. Yeah. Princess. Has he ever had a haircut that wasn't done by Edward Scissorhands? It's weird.
Well, it's like when they bring him back for Force Awakens, they make him have old man scruffy hair.
Yeah. Yeah. He just seems to have quite unruly hair, but at least he still has hair. So that's that.
I will say this, right? Like Star Wars not being planned whatsoever. Come on, we know it's true. Yeah. I don't think that in Star Wars there's any real hint of a romance between Luke and Leia. Not really. They argue and bicker, but there's maybe a bit of chemistry. But in this, they come in with that scene and you immediately buy it. Because it convincingly builds on something that was there before. Those bits of dialogue very economically bring us up to speed. The fact they were fucking helps their kind of chemistry. like, you know, it's I think it just brings you up to speed brilliantly, and you just buy it, and I believe it, and you know, I don't question it, and I think it's structurally it works, it's conceivable, but it's not like it was set up in the first one.
Do you think? I mean, the more I think about it, I think this is Han Solo's film. You know, I mean, he's the one who has to go on the biggest arc. He's the one who sacrificed. I know Luke doesn't really sacrifice himself. He does in a way, and I know he loses his hand and everything, but it's Han who ultimately has to let go of who he is and turn into someone else, and in a way physically, quite literally. But I think he's the one I wouldn't say he's the protagonist necessarily, but he's the one who goes on the biggest arc.
We know that because he wasn't going to commit to another one, and they put him in Carbonite because they wanted to be like, okay, we could just say he's dead if he doesn't want to come back.
Yeah,
makes me kind of wonder if they're then capitalising on the Harrison Ford of it all and making him front and centre, because you would. I mean, he's fucking amazing. Like, you know, he's
God, yeah.
And it was, you know, sort of thing people don't want to hear, but this is the one that George Lucas seemed to have the least involvement in, and it's widely regarded as the best.
What Irving Kershner said, like he was like. He basically said, yeah, I'll do it, but you have to stay off my set, basically. And I think he turned up on one day and the X-Wing didn't work or whatever, and it was like, right, go away. Like, that's,
Fuck off.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Irving Kershner's a really interesting choice, considering the subject matter, and, you know.
It's funny, isn't it? And he's kind of a bit of a sort of journeyman, like, you know, Eyes of Laura Mars and stuff. And, you know, a film that we both enjoy. Well, wait, I'm not sure I want to say that. Is that true? I really, really like RoboCop 2. I think it's great.
I do, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
I thought he did, yeah. I guess it's been a while.
And I think he elevated that in a way that film isn't sort of regarded for, but I do think he did.
It has no business being as good as it is, and I do insist that it is a good movie.
Yeah. I think so. I really think so. And it expands on it. Again, I think he has that sort of James Cameron ability to expand. I know he didn't write it. That's the difference. But he does have that ability to expand the scope of stuff. Admittedly, you know, probably with bigger budgets and stuff. Here he comes. Look, would you like some lingonberries? Hey, what are you doing? My fucking arm!
It's the Wampa, the Swedish Wampa. Because the shot of it reacting with his arm cut off is that was added in.
I know all that shit's all
mad. But that stuff's like, a practical costume that you added, that looks good. You know,
because it's not CGI AF.
And the thing is, like, you know, when you see the cockpits of, I don't know what they're called. You know, the Hoth.
Yeah, you can see through them, can't you? From the processing.
That's something they fixed.
Yeah,
fine with that. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, this is kind of, again, it's also the one that's kind of least fucked with. But I don't mind. You know how like they've put loads of windows into Cloud City, like so it looks bigger.
Fine.
I'm fine with that. I think it looks good. Like, you know,
it's inoffensive.
Yeah,
I think this, like you say, this is the least fucked with, because they haven't put any, as far as I know anyway. I don't think they've put any deleted scenes back in, and they're not. You know, you're not walking into a friggin' cantina full of like
Muppets
crap. It annoys me. Like the Jedi annoys me because they fuck with it. Like with Jabba's, you've got that like jazz crap from the twat with the bassoon nose or whatever. And it's like I liked my plus.
See, you like it?
No, I don't. I prefer my larger lady, you know, my plus size lady. Stomping
like
about with like six, some sort of.
She's still in there. She is
still in there, but it's not the same thing. And it's the same thing with the Ewoks.
It's not the same.
I prefer the song at the end of the, you know, with the Ewoks.
See, I honestly quite like that. Thing like in the Jedi Special Edition.
Jub, double,
the jubby, yeah.
Jub, didgeridoo, whatever.
Didgeridoo.
You know, I don't know, but it's good. I like that one. It's I don't know. I mean, I don't really give a shit. It's just weird that it's kind of been arsed with to this degree. But you know, yeah. I mean, Irving Kershner, I think he did.
Clip from Cheers over there, by the way. Anyway.
Oh yeah, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is. Isn't it? What's going on here? Irving Kershner has. It's funny. He's whenever you listen to him in interviews, he's like, I told George Lucas stay off the set. I love this moment here with the doors shut and look at that racking shot on Leia and everything. It's fucking amazing.
Fucking awesome, right? It's really cool.
You know, it's amazing. But yeah, Irving Kershner, he sounds like a sort of unholy alliance between, on the one hand, Bernie Sanders. He's got that kind of, you know, the 1%. Huh. And then, and like Jordan Peterson or Kermit the Frog, you know.
Oh, yeah, same difference.
Yeah.
Sort of like, you know, and it's a Star Wars thing. And if, you know, you really think about it, it's like, I mean, they're really suffering. And
but there's also a bit of Ray Romano. Oh my
God!
God!
Yeah, Deborah. It's like this is sort of, you know, it's that sort of high pitched.
Oh my God, Mom! Is there a fire? Hello, little caller fireman.
He's concurrently sort of concerned with the 1% earning too much money and the plight of young men and his mum being overbearing. That's a very strange thing. And yet he makes brilliant films, you know. That's the whole thing.
A very conflicted man.
Yeah.
And that's Irving Kershner for you, everybody. Welcome to
an amalgamation of
three
modern people, apart from Bernie Sanders.
Because he died in the 90s, didn't he, old Kersh?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
He died, yeah, I'm not sure 100%. I'm not 100 on that, but...
I'm 200.
I'm 200.
I'll look it up.
When did he do or die? When did you do or die?
I'm still alive, you assholes.
You stupid. You asshole, you stupid asshole. And the last thing he's listed as directing is an episode of Sequest DSV, which was after he did Robocop 2. Never seen it again, of course.
Well, do you know when he died? Presumably you were looking at it, so I don't know why I'm looking it up.
I'm trying because I'm on his IMDb page. I'm look at his bio. Where's it? Hold on. Oh, I got to read more. No, wrong. Big wrong. 2010.
2010. Yeah.
I guess it just didn't work. Didn't work for a long time.
Lazy bastard.
Well, he's probably producing or something. I just haven't bothered.
Oh, that, yeah.
lazy bastard.
I did a wamper and then I got out of there.
Oh my God, I got out of there.
Deborah! You know, so it's really just what would you say? It's, you know, they're really trying to find...
Anyway, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this.
But you are going.
I'm just going.
I can't remember what these fucking...
In my pants.
Where was this shot, all this snow stuff?
In my bum.
In your bum? In Duncan's bum?
No, it was...
He remembers it vividly.
In my bum.
The
pup master.
In the corner, out the butt. Yes. Come on, Gino. Fuck
me. Yeah, come on. Right. Lingonberries, right? Yes,
right.
Keep them tart
Tart.
right? Keep the heat high.
Bring to the boil. Add blue milk. Perfect.
Straight from the cow's tits.
Straight from the tits.
I don't know if I'm really sorry if my levels are kind of. I'm sorry. I'm watching this as it's recording.
Well, you're going into your own. I mean.
Yeah, I think my levels are a bit all over. I'm really sorry. I'm trying to. I should have tested this. I'm fiddling. I apologise.
Yeah, I'm looking at your midriff.
Don't look at my book.
Don't look at my midriff. This is in a big IKEA. Then I guess it's Space Sweden. Mm-hmm. I've got a microphone for the face, and your friend is in a nappy.
Is she incontinent, my friend?
It's our Bector. It's very like
Bector the future.
Because there's a deleted scene where he's got like a kind of Phantom of the Opera bandage on his face, so I guess they were really going to lean in. But I've always thought it's very much undone by the fact they show his face before the Wampa attack. So it's like, well,
yeah,
who are you trying to kid here? I don't understand what this is. But I always found it really weird. Like as a kid, I was like, but that's a different guy. But he has the same voice because he looks so different. He looks fine. Like, you know, they did a fucking great job on old Mark Hamill.
Do you think he looks different? It doesn't.
Dude, he's got like a bit different nose. He's got a different nose, man. Like as a kid, as a child, it freaked me out because I was just like, it's him, but it's not him. I don't know why this is. It's very obviously him, and he's in his karate gi in this scene.
Yeah,
just to let us know that it's still Luke. And that robot's got a microphone for a mouth. Look at that. You don't leave her alone, you perv.
Well, isn't this a bit where she kisses her own brother or whatever?
Yep. It's getting incesty with your bestie. It was all planned along. Originally, it was a rim job to make Han really jealous, but
extra jealous.
After Kirsch took them through 40 takes of that, they decided not to use it.
Just do it one more time.
Get right in there, Carrie. Oh my God, Deborah.
1%.
This is horribly schizophrenic. Oh fuck! Look at that lighting. The guy with the underlit thing. I love all this. It's so good. It's so fucking good. I did so for reasons best known to myself. So I had a lot of time to myself recently. I'm working away a lot and whatever. So I watched The Force Awakens, and I started watching The Last Jedi, and I'm enjoying The Last Jedi more than I ever have ever. But it's because I'm watching it in like 20-minute chunks. So
Right.
like I feel like the act of watching it as one film would be immensely tedious. I can confirm that I found the act of watching The Force Awakens in one hit immensely tedious. But fuck me, man. Like every time in The Force Awakens when Harrison Ford is there, he's amazing. He's so good. It's like he hasn't missed a beat with his character. He's so charismatic. He's funny. It's like Han Solo's out and then they fucking kill him. And you go into another movie and he's not there. And it's like, oh, he was the best thing in that.
Yeah. I just think they're on this crusade to kill certain heroes. I mean, it's like I really think that's what they were doing with Indiana Jones, and you just think I mean I get it. I mean he's old now, but it's kind of like I think when you start with that as an end goal and right backwards, that's when the problem happens. And I think the thing with Han Solo is like, he dies on a bridge in a red place. It's like right.
I'm all but certain. I don't know if this is correct, but I'm all but certain Harrison Ford probably only came back on the
because of
that.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not saying. I'm not laying it at anybody in particular's feet. I think you're right, and I know that was the case.
He's been trying to get Han Solo killed like since the first one.
Yeah, well, I know, and I know that was the case with Daniel Craig as well. Daniel Craig wanted to kill James Bond pretty much from Casino Royale onwards, and it's like, right, but but I do think there's a degree of like almost arrogance on the part of like, well, it's like I want to be the guy who kills him. It's like, why?
Well, just the irritating thing about that was like the three principals never got in a room once.
Yeah.
And they were never going to because they killed Han Solo in the first one, didn't put Luke in it at all. And it's like the best thing about these is that friendship. That's what makes these compelling, I think. Oh, this is Mr. Bronson from Grange Hill. He also played Hitler in Last Crusade.
Oh my God.
So you go, we know you killed Danny Kendall, Mr. Bronson, you bastard. Is that Julian Glover?
Is that Hitler? Space Hitler.
Dun, dun, dun. Ba-da-ba-bow.
That's it. They're there. I love that bit where he just sets like Vader is such a like that. It could be such a comical, Again, I mean, this film takes it so seriously, and he's so imposing and scary. And it's interesting because he's not shot. I mean, you do see him looking up at him, but like in that shot there, he's shown pretty much. I mean, he is taller than everyone in the scene, but it's not like you get a lot of room above him or below. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of in the frame as almost an equal to everyone else, and yet it's just done well enough that you do find him scary. But it could be so easily comical because it's like it doesn't emote. It's not like you see his face. So if they didn't get all that right, it could be a real balls up.
I think people really underestimate that kind of stuff. I think those non-emotive costumes and characters, like it takes one wrong move and it could just look fucking ridiculous. It's like really easy for it to look dumb. And it's just like, I think they handled it so well, I also like that as the films wear on, they seem to have remembered to polish him more. It's like the first Vader's just like covered in fingerprints, and like by Jedi he's properly Mr. Sheened up. This is mad. All these sets here, they're like, I know like they're kind of chunks, and you use composites and matte paintings and stuff, but they're fucking mental. Like this is
but
like
it's the coverage
gear and stuff.
And this is the thing. It's like that we went through that phase. I think we've come out of it now, but excuse me, we went through that phase of really missing, establishings and stuff like that. Whereas that hangar, for example, you get nice wide, and then you go in really close, so you're just looking through bits of the Falcon at Han Solo or down at Luke, and it's like, yeah, and we know where that is, and it's like, so you can put the camera wherever you want, and then they'll do it in clever bits. Excuse me, because you're looking at a hangar full of ships, you can look through a bit of landing gear, and yet you can see the depth in the set and stuff like that, and it makes it both intimate and sort of sprawling at the same time. It's very clever.
Yeah, all of this stuff. There's so much. ILM were just innovating with these movies. So I'm doing. I've just snagged a big corporate client, which I'm not going to say the name of because it's probably not right. But I've started working.
Johnny Brillo's dildos.
Johnny Brillo's dildos. Dildos and paedophile supplies. No.
Did we say pedos? We meant pedos.
I'm doing
we meant speedos.
I did speedos, yeah. I'm doing green screen stuff for them at the moment. So we shoot loads of product videos. I get green screen, and I go to the effects tab, and I select Ultra Key, and I drag it on, and then I choose and then I choose the green, and the green goes away, and I put something beneath it, and it's there.
Shut
Whereas
up.
this was all like painting. Shut up.
I have to say,
These fuckers had to run things through a chemical bath to take the blue out, and then paint on mirrors and stuff. Crazy.
The whole green screen thing. I've had a client recently who, let's not go there, but they didn't really listen to my brief and shot a subject against the green screen wearing highly reflective clothing, and all sorts of shit. So I had to learn how to do a lot of correcting in After Effects. So go that step beyond sort of Ultra Key and all that kind of thing, and and all
you have to really get into it.
Oh my god! And because then what you're trying to avoid is having to go through the whole masking them off. Because if you do that,
you might as well have not green screened it.
Well, exactly. Then it's just rotoscoping. So luckily, I've sort of learned that process a bit. I mean, I'm by no means an expert, but it's kind of like you can. I mean, technically, you can key out a subject from any background. It's just the degrees to which you want to fiddle about with it. Oh, what's going on? My internet's just dropped. Oh, for fuck's sake! Why have I've got spinny wheel? Oh, you cunt! Sorry. Keep going, everyone.
I say keep going. We keep going, and then I'll give you a time code when your internet comes back. I thought you had mega internet. Could I
do, but I think
I'll do the noises. I'll do the noises. That's the big cigar one going past. Pew pew! Run! Get out! It's blowing up. Whoop whoop! Yeah, no, we're happy now.
I know what's happening.
That's Luke's feet. It's Luke's feet.
The Fire Stick in here has been kicked off the internet, I think. Which is so fucking irritating.
Oh no!
Sorry, keep going, and I'll just have to try and catch up.
Hey, co-pilot, how you doing? Yeah, I'm good. So you're gonna die today? Nah, man, we're gonna win. Yeah, you got that rope? Yeah, I love rope. Do we need it? Nah, I don't need the rope. All right, off you go, boys. There's snow. Quickly aim at the back. This is the worst thing I've ever done.
Stop doing it. Just
what do binoculars sound like?
You're not entertaining.
This is additive. This is better.
What's going on
better
now?
Than Star Wars.
No.
Hold on.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm having to restart. I think what's happening is
scrambling. Duncan, Bubby. I can rescue this situation. Don't worry. The Atat walkers are here. They're aberrations of nature. You remember that? We like talking about that.
We do.
What I can do, I can send this to your Skype window. If you just hold tight, I'll send this to your Skype window.
I tell you what's happened is I'm in the garden office, and I've had this recently. Like the Wi-Fi likes to kick me off. Like it kicks off various things if they're not used a lot. Like one of my old laptops, it likes to kick off.
Duncan.
I think it's the same thing with this.
Bubby.
Shut up.
Right, I got you. Hold on.
All right.
Normal service to resume. It's not like we were talking insightfully about Empire Strikes Back anyway.
I've got to restart this fucking thing. Yeah,
hey.
Are we still going? We're still going.
Duncan, there you go. All right, so now you should have Star Wars in your Skype.
I've got Star Wars in my Skype. There you go.
You've lost my beautiful mush.
That's true, I have. But then all you're looking at was my tits.
I was just looking at your boobs. So here we go.
Yeah. All right.
There we go. We're back.
Thank you. I'm sorry about that, everyone. That's
Yeah, that's nice. But this kind of stuff. This is subject to so many non-invasive fixes of the kind that I think are good. I think, like when the cockpits were transparent, I think that's an utterly valid thing to fix. It's when you start giving Luke dildos for hands or whatever fucking George Lucas up to. But all the kind of stuff in this, and I think the Cloud City stuff. They're at Cloud City exteriors as well that are new. You know, but I'm so fucking. I've got the what are called the despecialized editions. I've talked about this before. There's like these bootleg versions where people have restored the theatrical cuts of them using different sources. Yeah, and they're really good. But I've been radicalized by the special editions because I had that VHS set in 1997.
They came to your university and gave you.
It's true.
A secret talk in a pub about.
It's true, above a pub. Yeah. about the special editions.
So you're watching this on Disney Plus. I should be able to just resume on here, and it hopefully will sync up with what you're doing. Because I've just got it back on. I had to restart my.
Are you implying that we share accounts? Because that's illegal, and I'd never steal IP. How dare
what I mean is
I can't believe you stole my password whilst visiting, which is the only rational explanation I have.
Oh, alright.
This is what you get for building tanks with legs, you dumb fucks.
Yeah, I mean, it is so sort of deeply impractical. That's the kind of thing I think my dad would go, they'd never do that, that's ridiculous. And it's like, yeah, but
yeah, there'd never be space wizards either, Dad, but never mind.
I know.
Yeah, no, it's great though, isn't it? It's such a striking image. It's a really brilliantly striking image, and it ties into Toby's thing about aberrations of nature and stuff like that. And it's just it's threatening, isn't it? I think that's the thing, because these things are walking towards you. And what do they? Because I think when you have creatures whose knees bend frontwise, like horses do that, and camels. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the AT-AT is supposed to.
I don't know how that would help you. Yeah, that's an AT-AT. Yeah.
All-terrain attack transport.
Right.
Not to be confused with an AT-PAT, all-terrain Patrick.
Just
a man called Patrick with big shoes. Yeah. Can just go anywhere. He's an all-terrain Patrick.
Because what are the ones in the chicken ones in Jedi are?
They are ATST, I think.
That's it. All-terrain shit tracks.
All-terrain, surely, Thomas. That's it's got a comma in it.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, this is good. Like this scene as well, for the fucking extras and the depth in it. They've got trenches, there's like guys running around in the background, like all the snow stuff, and I think that's practical. I don't think that's matte paintings or whatever. They seem to be actual extras running about in costume. It's fucking bananas. Like the scope of it, because like I think we talked about, and I think this is one of the upgrades with this. Like, talk about Star Wars 1, which is a great movie, but if you boil it down, essentially it takes place in a handful of locations. Like they spend a hell of a lot of time on the Death Star, for example. Whereas this has just this insane scale to it. Like as soon as, because after this, the main players don't reunite to the very final scene of the movie. Yeah. Right, and Han's out of the picture.
We might be synced up again, though cannot confirm nor deny. So okay, sorry. I don't know. I didn't need to say that. Anyway, who cares?
I'm 31:15 coming up on. Fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, we're there. I can see both. So yeah,
you can see both.
Good. Sorry,
fine. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you. Sorry, mate. Anyway, go on.
Good.
They're out of the picture. You were saying
out of the picture. So yeah, like this takes on this ridiculous scale. Like because they all flee. You have Luke going through space speaking to R2. Then he ends up on Dagobah. Then he has to go to Cloud City. These guys, the fucking thing where Han limpets onto the Star Destroyer, and gets towed away with the junk. And then there's a fucking worm inside an asteroid.
Oh, it's so good.
Crazy.
Man.
It's so
love
good.
All that shit.
That white protocol droid is dead there.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was all dead lying on the rubble. Fuck, I never noticed that before.
Yeah.
That'll teach you. There he is, there. You big dead wanker. That'll teach you.
That'll teach you to be blinding and like.
invisible, but in snow, but not much else.
Not much else. Yeah, all this stuff is great, and you know what? They know exactly what to show in close up. So all that stuff in trenches and everything, it's like you don't need all the background. And I guess being in snow, as long as you're looking up at something, it's a white background.
Look
basically.
At it, it's bananas. Like,
Yeah.
Because there's all the composites with the machines. The sense of scale is great. Like Luke running under the legs of it and shit.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is what makes these characters cool and interesting, right? It's because they're smart and they do cool, swashbuckly, adventure-y things. Like Luke pulls this off. It's mental. And like, okay, he needs a bit of Jedi nous, but it's not magic. He just happens to have the sword to cut his way through. Like Han knowing to pretend to be trash. Like he lands on. Who would think to land on the ship? Because they're wily and they're smart. You know.
Well, and that's what this has. It has that grand scope, but those who prevail embrace the kind of, you know, the local, the kind of the small things. You know, it's like that in a nutshell is kind of what it's saying, isn't it? Is that like, you know,
support local business.
Yeah, forget the 1%, and yeah. No, I mean it's more that I just think it's saying, you know, that there are still people at the heart of this. There's still a story to tell, and there's still, you know, what prevails as a human spirit. You know, and it's kind of much more so than the first one, really. I mean, the first one had that too, but it's kind of got that thing of, you know, it's a hero's journey. I mean, you know, that's what it all boils down to. But it's kind of like using ingenuity in adversity, or, you know, all that kind of stuff. And Vader in this is a much bigger, you know, he seems much more defined as, you know.
Yeah, he's not just like, Vader's fucking cool in Star Wars, but he's a pantomime bad guy.
Yeah.
And they nearly killed him off. He was supposed to just be a henchman.
Right,
you know?
yeah.
Like, whereas this, and you, again, because he doesn't, you know, he can't emote and stuff. You do, but through the performances of Dave Prowse and Jedi Judge, you get a real sense of his emotions and where he's at, and you know, and it kind of does lay kind of the groundwork for him perhaps being conflicted or whatever. And it's really, really cool. And I just kind of imagine what a fucking shock the end of this must have been as well.
I know,
fucking amazing to have beheld. You know.
Sort of have to wonder here, though, why he doesn't just use the Force to grab the Millennium Falcon out of the sky.
Yeah, no,
like
he only did that in the past
Obi-Wan
for some reason.
He did that once for a less important reason. But
it's like fucking, you know, like how R2 can fly in Revenge of the Sith, and it's like, dude, fly more. Why are you doing that? Like,
do you ever think to mention that before now? Like,
for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
By the way, I've totally met these guys.
Yeah. I love little things like that. That whole kind of like hand running in a thing that doesn't work, he smacks it and all the lights come back on. It's like,
yes,
that's a nice bit of, you know, business.
Yeah, like,
as we say,
it's great, and it's like it's an amazing ship, but only him and Chewie can really get it going.
Exactly.
You know? It's so
which pays off because it's sort of foreshadowing.
Yeah, well, I love the Falcon doesn't work noise. Is the best.
yeah, the hyperdrive noise. Told me you fixed it.
And they have the thing.
They told me I fixed it.
They told me you fixed it. And like it is Han, right, where the toolbox slides down and hits him when he's in the. Yeah, it's great. It's so full of life, and it's so funny and fun. I do actually quite like that bit in The Force Awakens where he's like, "That's not you can do it."
That's not how the Force works. That's my favourite bit, is when he's like, I don't know, we'll use the Force. He's like, that's not how the Force works. It's just the way he sort of incredulously looks at it.
I would watch. I think, do you know what happened was, actually, for some reason, I think in lieu of having watched Star Wars, I was watching, like, I was like, I want to watch some of Han Solo scenes of The Force Awakens, which I did on YouTube, and I was like, no, fuck it, I'll just watch the movie. And again, it's just like, when he's there, it's like, he's great. He lights up the screen, you know.
I think John Boyega's fantastic in it. I would say that. I think he and Daisy Ridley. I think Daisy Ridley is just pointless. You know, she's useless. Unfortunately, that character just isn't needed. I think if you made it about John Boyega's character and you just said, oh, it's now we're talking about a stormtrooper who broke good essentially and ended up saving the galaxy. It's like that would be a more compelling story, and make it female. I'm not saying it has to be John Boyega or whoever, but I just think that's the more interesting story to follow. You dilute it by having and also this woman who's sort of Luke Skywalker, lives in the desert. And
they didn't know where they were going with it.
No, they didn't know where they were going with it. It was just like, your parents are really important, except they're not, except whatever. And it's like, right.
Nah, fucking bullshit.
Except you're fucking Emperor Palpatine's granddaughter or something, or one of them. I don't know. Do you want some cake? It's like, what is this? Like, what the fuck is this?
It's very frustrating.
Don't get me wrong. Like, these were not planned. But those really weren't planned. They were sort of unplanned.
They were not planned by design.
I know, yeah.
It's just like, what the fuck?
What we're going to do is plan them, then unplan them.
I got an excellent plan. It's no plan at all.
I love. This is the bit.
Gag with and look, he just leaves it so precariously on the edge.
Bang!
Oh, that's great, and all the steam coming out. Oh, so good.
Yeah. And when you see down in it, I mean, that's a set they've built where he's like hanging off things, trying to put things together. It's like it's wonderful, man. I think what this film does especially well is it knows, it's like, sorry George, but like people who knew what worked about the first one took this and went, no, these are the things we need to work. These are the things we need to amplify and look at and work on, and and it works. It just works so well. I mean, again, I don't have anything. I think the first one's really good, but I just think this is fucking Star Wars, isn't it?
It's leagues ahead, isn't it?
Yeah, gotcha.
Leagues ahead. It's so, and it sets a template for so much. It's just this really compelling movie. I honestly think, with all its because of all of its cultural baggage, really, you could just show this. Someone who's never seen a Star Wars, you could just show them this. Really, You don't need to know. Luke is special, and Han's a rogue, and Leia's the, rebellion general or whatever she is, and that's good enough. There's a gay robot, a dustbin, and a dog man.
Let's crack on.
Yeah.
It's interesting as well because you look at things like Spaceballs, and you kind of go, well, like a lot of the characters in that are represented accurately.
Yeah,
and because I think that film goes, these are inherently stupid. We don't really have to do that much.
This is dumb.
So,
making Joan Rivers C-3PO.
Exactly. So you kind of go, well, and that's the magic. That's the magic because they do it in this. See, shots like this where the Millennium Falcon's going through asteroids or going through that valley. Bearing in mind that's a model shot on probably a motion control or something, and then there's things added, and it's kind of like, but you have to put the shadow over it. Because you've got a direct source of light, so you have to put the shadow over it when it goes under a thing. Very hard to do.
There's about 100 things in play, and again, I could do motion control tomorrow with a motorized slider and a gimbal because of what these guys did 40 years ago. It's all very well for me saying. I'm not saying I do it well because one of the things you do with motion control. So I'm looking into motion control because it's going to factor into a project I have coming up. Is that because if you shoot everything to get the light you want, you'd normally shoot wide open. That's having your aperture open, if you're wondering, which changes your depth of field. But the problem, if you do that, it makes everything look really small because the whole thing isn't in focus. But if you want to shoot with your aperture closed, so everything is in focus, it's going to be too dark. So all these motion control shots are done stock frame, so each single frame is a long exposure. So by design, it's going to take fucking hours. You can't just snap a picture and move on. You have to hold the aperture open, ding, 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 ding. Sorry for being boring. But it's by design a really long process because you're taking long exposures of every single frame. So you're moving it on, but it's also stop motion. And like you're saying, you have to then factor in sourcing of light, which has to be done practically, because now we have all these wonderful benefits of computers, but all of that has to be done practically, frame by frame. It's mad. The stop motion, the combination of motion control and stop motion is really fucking bananas.
Yeah. Well, I think as well, people forget because people now, especially, I really think a lot of people think you click a button in a computer and it literally just does it all for you. And
you talk to it. make me a spaceship, and he just does it.
Yeah, and it's like, but without that base understanding of what is needed and what you have to do and how you have to shoot it and what, all of the stuff that was done on films like this, without understanding that, you can't effectively click said button and make it work, because invariably computers get things wrong or they mix things up, and you have to understand how to adjust that in order to realistically blend it. I mean, look at any fucking TikTok, God help us, video, whatever, of some twat dancing. People do it all the time, and they dance for it, and there's it's a computer that just cuts out the background. It's brilliant. Or like Skype, for example, where people, no, I'm on the moon in my stupid, pointless conference call, and it's like, but look at all the bleed through, all the it's like that's if you want it to look like a film, then that's a lot of work. I just it's fucking stupid.
Un film. Yeah, it's it's a fuck of a lot of work, and it still is. We're so lucky in what we can do, and on our film and stuff, we were able to do. Can't spoil it yet 'cause it's not out for public viewing, but in our film, we did a few little bits with green screen that worked because we matched the light. That was still painstaking. That kind of painstaking to match the lighting, but it was a goober doing it literally in his bedroom. So but still painstaking, but it no longer has a chemical process. So for filmmakers now, it's so much easier, and we can learn from what these people. So Mark just sent me a video on motion control as part of the research for that I need to watch, and that's why. And he was the one who told me you shoot closed aperture, and then you do long exposures and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. See, but if you don't have that granular understanding of filmmaking and the history of filmmaking and the history of these processes, then clicking the button isn't enough, and it's like, that's what I mean. It's kind of like, you do still need those tips and tricks. You can't just do it all, it's not as seamless as people think. So there is still the need for that knowledge, and it's the same thing with, it's funny, I had can I tell you this? This is something I need to tell Richard, but I don't know if I can tell. Put it this way: shout out to Steve Arnold, who I had a really great call with the other day, and I'll tell you more about that in a bit. But it's the same thing with writing. It's the same thing with all this stuff. It's like, if you don't have that real engagement and understanding of the process and what's needed, and it's not hard in the sense of, I have that understanding as an actor. I have an understanding of literature and kind of structure and character and allegory and subtext and all that shit. But I'm astounded at the amount of films that come out now that apparently have no grasp of that. That don't, you know what I mean? They just seem to have completely hand-waved.
It's fucking amazing what comes out sometimes, and they
it
charge
really
you 12
is,
quid a chuck to watch it, and it's just like, I've railed against this before, and people are like, stop going on about it, and it's like, no, Suicide Squad was one of the biggest scandals ever. Like, in terms of what you were, if that was a meal, if you went to, to be fair, it's 12 quid to go see a movie. If you went to McDonald's and they gave you broken glass and dog shit in a burger, but it was obviously that you only couldn't see it because of the bread and lettuce. There'd be a fucking outrage.
Yeah.
Stop going on about it. No, I won't ever stop going on about it. How dare they release that to us?
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely, and not just that. I mean, there's been a bunch. I would say that about fucking Rise of Skywalker as well. It's like there's barely a film here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know, and it amazes me because I kind of go, I don't say this with any, I'm very lucky, I'm very grateful for all the opportunity I get, because, and I have been afforded opportunity, and luckily that's sort of slowly expanding, and I've just done a movie and with some really great people, and it's kind of like but I put a lot of thought into it, even to small parts and what's going on. I sit around and I go, okay, what's going on here? What would this feel like? What's the backstory for me? So that when I get there, I don't have any notes. I'm not, take after take, I'm not the one they're coming back to going, sorry, can you just tweak that? Or can you do this? Or can you do that?
Right.
So this doesn't mean that if they do that, you've done anything wrong. But I mean, for me, I like to be kind of I like to be the one going up to them going, do you need me to do anything differently? Is there anything? Because I like collaboration, but collaboration can only happen if you're coming in with ideas and options and understanding your role in it all. I think it's very, people really seem to lose sight of what their role is on film sets, and it's like, don't get me wrong, like recently on this thing I just did, well, I was very lucky because I got to go and be part of the rehearsal for it, which is not something you get to do a lot on film, especially, if you're not a lead role, but really even if you're the lead in something, you don't rehearse it. You just turn up and you start shooting, and the rehearsal is the camera rehearsal for each setup. So but the nature of what we did, we couldn't do that, so we did a full run through, and we ran it through, and I got to basically play the lead role in the run through. And what was beautiful about that is we also had to kind of this is something that is becoming more and more people are becoming more and more aware of, but on big films nowadays, the process is you kind of make it up as you go along. There isn't a script. Well, there is, but it's kind of loose, and you piece it together on set. You go, well, let's try this, let's do that, and you just think, how are you fucking make a film like that? I have no idea, but people think they write the script and then they do the storyboarding and then you just shoot that. And that's not how it happens at all.
Yeah, no.
But because of the nature of the film we were making, it had to be done. It had to be prearranged. And so I was very privileged. I got to be there and sort of working it out in the rehearsals, because we were going, right, when we put this in the space, this doesn't work because of the nature of where the camera has to go and because of who the characters are, and this wouldn't happen, this doesn't make sense to the audience, so da-da-da-da. And I love being part of that process. And but I think people, if you don't have a grasp of, what storytelling is and what, cinematic storytelling is through visual stuff, you really have no business making movies. But the problem is it attracts people because of the glamour. And what I've seen is, with so much stuff that's come out recently, it's like, you don't understand how to tell a visual story. You don't. Demonstrably, because this is terrible. And it's full of expository nonsense that doesn't need to be there.
People standing around just describing the plot to each other. So,
oh my God. Yeah. It's so...
Also, I feel sad, and it's like, well, no, you could depict that through lighting and framing and performance. You don't need someone to say, I feel sad.
Dude, it's so A to B fucking, and that to me that's the biggest crime, is when a film has to explain itself and what's going on. I just go, nah,
check out.
Done. I see the cracks. This is fucking stupid. Like, this is not a well crafted, thing. And don't get me wrong, like, writers write like that. Quite often writers will write like that into dialogue because they'll be rightly worried that something won't come across to an audience. And it's really the kind of director, cinematographer, it's their job to go, these beats, we will see them because of how we're going to frame this, or because of how we're going to place the character. We're going to tell that visually, we're not going to tell it literally or through dialogue. And that's the nuance of filmmaking, but that just doesn't happen anymore.
Well, and quite often it's just ruined by test screenings.
Oh my God!
Like
yeah.
Basically, a bunch of dumbasses don't understand film, so we need you to reshoot loads of scenes where people describe what's happening down the lens. And
to bring it full circle and back to good old Irving Kershner, that's the beauty of RoboCop 2, because it literally breaks the fourth wall and has that it
actually has a focus group.
Has a focus group in the middle of it.
It's brilliant. It's an amazing treatise about the dangers of sequels and how a sequel is folly. And there's a character in it called RoboCop 2 that's just bigger but worse and goes wrong. And costs someone millions of dollars.
Yeah,
like it's brilliant.
It kills everyone. It's brilliant.
Brilliant. It's really clever.
It's genius, man.
Because this movie, like the romance stuff between Han and Leia is so good, because it's something kind of, she's resisting it, he's pushing it, because he's kind of got his hooks in her a bit. And I think what Kershner does here, there's like amazing set design, there's some really wonderful framing from DOP, but they just this is one long take, this bit. There are cuts in it, but this is just one long take.
Yeah.
And their kind of romance stuff often just unfolds like a play. It's really great. It's really, really
That's
nice.
True,
and it's beautifully lit. Because look, this take's still fucking going.
It's quite often shot from her, not from her POV, but kind of looking up at him or looking down at her. That's a lovely frame because there's something working in the foreground.
Something or other, a bit of business over there.
Bit of business going on. And and you're given that establishing of that room is that it's a really tall.
We see even the lights behind her. The lights behind her head, right?
Yeah,
and the panel behind him, like everything. For most of this movie, there's something going on somewhere. So, like when Luke's fixing R to talk to Yoda, there's a snake in the front of the frame.
Yeah,
just slithering over a box, and it's just like, I think this is the most the Star Wars world has ever felt alive. Because there's all these bits. Fucking Cloud City as well. There's just constant shit going on. All the space up. Because now they introduced the Superstar Destroyer. I love this. The hologram dies.
The guy's just like, I'm dead!
See, look, there's a guy just meddling with a tool in the background.
They
bring in the Superstar Destroyer, which is bigger than because the big scary thing was a Death Star and the Star Destroyers, but now it's the Superstar Destroyer. Makes the Star Destroyers we know look small, but they go into an asteroid field, so there's stuff flying around all the time. They're blowing up, like all this stuff. The guys in the background working panels and stuff. Shadows on that door in the background on the right? Like that's because there's a fucking lamp pointing out where that little droid came from. Purely
it's all deliberate.
It's fucking great. Like there's so much depth and texture. Also, the classic kind of color wheel thing with the Superstar Destroyer. The rear of it's kind of your tungsten color. I always get this wrong. Your teal and whatever. You got the blue and orange.
Yeah.
So you got this kind of high contrast stuff. This is Ian McDiarmid, and it didn't used to be. It used to be a Clive Revel's voice and a woman's face and chimp's eyes.
Really?
This is.
I didn't know that.
So it was Clive Revel's voice. It was a woman. I can't remember whose face, and then they composited chimp's eyes over. So you remember the old Emperor from Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, okay, interesting.
This is one of these things that kind of you should hate it, but in actual fact, it does create continuity. The dialogue's different as well. So I think he says specifically about the son of Skywalker or whatever. It's a bit like you didn't have to do that. It's Star Wars. Like it's fine. We get it.
The son of Skywalker, but I'm not saying he's your son, if you get my meaning, because you.
But he's somebody's son, right?
But whatever.
Wink.
My eyes are like piss holes in the snow. I'm out of here.
Oh.
I'm off for a fag.
Oh, no, you can probably see Dave Prowse's eyes through those lenses there, and they're dilated. He's going hell for leather.
Yeah. Oi, all right there, my lover. I don't know what fucking
he's a son of Skywalker, but he's not my son. I get you. Would you like some cider, my lover?
Stonefoot Press, all right there. I sound like Mark fucking... What's his name? All right, yeah, no, I sound like Mark. What is his name? Mark.
Hey, what are you on about?
I'm Mark. What's his name? What's the actor's name? Bollocks. The BFG. The BFG.
Oh, Rylance. Mark Rylance.
Mark Rylance. That's what.
Rylance.
Sorry.
Right.
All right.
It's nice Cameras.
Yeah.
So the famous thing is, cheers. The famous thing is that there's like you can watch takes of Dave Prowse's Darth Vader, right, undubbed is a thing that exists, and that's very funny. But have you seen Peter Mayhew? Because there are scenes they shot where Chewie had dialogue in English. Oh, it's great. And he's like, aren't you going to help me fix the hyperdrive? I'm not doing it on my own. And he's like, it's great. He's like, get up here and give me a bloody hand. And I love the idea that like Chewie's actually sort of fenny in English. Sort of I don't know where Peter Mayhew's from, but he sounded kind of fenny to me.
Right.
But I love the idea that
come and help me with the hyperdrive, boy.
Because I think he says, give me a bloody hand or something. And the idea that Chewie's saying bloody, that makes me happy.
Yeah. I did a funny story about... So Mark Rylance, I saw his Richard III at the Globe years ago. Fucking
I hope
amazing.
he cleaned it up afterwards.
He did. Have a banana. No, he was great, and obviously, and that was pre him sort of becoming a movie star, really. I was, when we were doing the rehearsal for this film I was talking about back in November, one of the other actors who was there was a lovely lady called Kat, who was an excellent actress, and she's in the film too, actually. But she sat there and she told me about a time when Mark Rylance came to a... She's a dancer as well, so he came to a thing that she was in as a dancer, and he walked up to her and he went, "Where do I go?" And she went, "Oh, over there." And he went, "Right," and he was really confused. And in the middle of that, I went, Mark Rylance. Yeah, I was like, Rylance. Yeah, I see. I hate people like that because it's like, what business has he got doing it? And I went off on one, thinking she meant Rylance.
Oh, Rylance or Ryland.
Yeah, Rylance, whatever the fuck his name is. That white-toothed dickhead who's all over the, you know.
That
and I was
plastic
like,
surgery guy off of BBC programmes.
yeah. And I was like, he pisses me off. He's fucking everywhere. He's using the talent as and then she went, no, Mark Rylance. And I went, oh, the sort of vaguely Cornish excellent actor who's brilliant.
The widely respected actor.
The brilliant guy who I've seen in a million things, including live on stage. And love to bits. Yes. Yeah, sorry, yeah. I said, you know what I just said? The opposite. Exactly the opposite of what I just said. And I was like, oh, you're not Ryland. Anyway, there we go. So that was quite embarrassing. But, yeah.
I saw because this stuff's awesome. I love. Yoda as well. This like Ewan McGregor talk about because so like Yoda in Star Wars Episode 1 was a puppet, right? But they replaced Yoda with CGI in the re-releases of Episode 1.
Right.
So CGI.
Yeah, of course they did.
So like the puppet Yoda, Ewan McGregor's talk in an interview, and he's like, "Oh, I worked with the puppet Yoda," and it's really upsetting because you're sitting acting opposite him, and like Frank Oz and these puppeteers are there, but when they call cut, they all just stop working him, so Yoda just dies. Just flops over and dies, and you have to watch it at the end of every scene. He's like, I got really invested, and he just died.
Amazing. Yeah. I love Ewan McGregor, man. He's someone who I just think keeps
great.
He comes back. This sounds like he's not the monster from Jeepers Creepers, but he kind of comes back decade after decade, and he really reinvents himself in brilliant ways. And I do think he's someone who he's still got a lot in him, I think, as far as sort of being.
Oh fuck yeah!
Like,
he's
like
always compelling to watch and everything. And
Doctor Sleep as well. Doctor Sleep. If I can impress upon anyone, I really think that film died a death that it didn't need to. It was really good.
I haven't watched it, but pretty much everybody I know who watched it loved it. You know,
it's really good. It's a really good film, man. And I think its biggest crime is the problem was when it tries to go back into The Shining. You sort of go, nah. But as a sequel to that film, and also a film in its own right, it's really fucking good. And Rebecca Ferguson's in it, who's wonderful, and it's just a really well put together film. It's just, I think we're so used to just being bombarded with content all the time that when things fail to make an impression in the cinema, they become content. They eventually become fodder for release on streaming, and then it's very hard to sort of then make a lasting impression. It's difficult. It's very difficult.
Then people like me watch it in 45-minute chunks or whatever.
Yeah, which is fine. I just think we need to make that transition to that's how we consume film now. But bearing in mind, everyone has a very small cinema screen in their home now,
or their pocket.
Much. Yeah, or their pocket. But you know, I mean, like we have a TV in the lounge. It's like 65-inch TV. It's like, well, that's like a small cinema screen, you know, and it's kind of like, well, we need to get used to that. And that things are filmed that way. You know, we're watching The Last of Us at the moment. It's very cinematic.
Most TV is now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's all in that. It's all shot for that aspect ratio and stuff. Although, arguably, it's not lensed. That's a very pretentious word. But, you know, I mean, it's not quite have that anamorphic. There's another pretentious word.
Anamorphic is just a technical term.
I know. So, it means blurry at the top and the bottom.
For fuck's sake. Right, that's it,
matey.
I'm going to get a can of tonic out the fridge. I'll be real quick. Your punishment is to talk about the big willy coming out of the mountain.
The big willy come out the cave. Yeah. Yeah. Rich is getting a can of tonic. This look at that. I mean that guys, if you're watching along, you know, you've got there's this thing of Luke climbing up the vines and swinging off another one. It's like that's a set with a matte painting, I'm guessing.
Luke does love to do a Tarzan.
He does do a Tarzan
as well. And
this is what I mean about this. Still has that energy. So even though this is a sort of training montagey stuff, it still moves. There's still shit moving. Everything is telling you something. Everything's still moving the plot forward. And And it's the hero's journey. So it's the kind of be careful what you wished for. In the first one, he's like, I want to be a Jedi. And it's like, well, motherfucker, here you go. Like, this is what you've got to do.
Here's what that's like.
And it's also not about, it's about letting go. And that's something that all people go through. I think all people go through. I mean, I do think, it's couched in the terms of a male perspective here, but I do think it's what everyone goes for. It's that thing of like, when you're young, you think you've got to impose your will on everything. And it's like, actually, the power, if you like, is in what you let go of. And that's really what this is about. The power is in being able to relinquish control and not, understand where to impose your will, and that's what this is about. This is exactly what this is about. And of course, when he faces off against Vader in in the cave, it's his own face he sees in the helmet.
Yeah. That's a really cool and sort of it's a really unsettling image, and
it's a very surreal moment as well in the whole thing.
Yeah, it's great. It's it's a sum of all your fears, but it's not what you think it is.
Yeah,
and not he doesn't know who he is yet, but the Force is telling him who he is. You could become your father, but he doesn't know he's his father yet. He won't know his father for another 43 minutes or whatever.
Well, and again, allegorically, it's talking about, or subtextually, I suppose, it's talking about. We all fear that, don't we? We all fear becoming our parents.
Well, there's the Freudian thing is about killing your father, and he can't shag his mum because she died of a broken heart.
I don't know about that. I get that. But I suppose for me, anyway, it's sort of saying, the thing you're embarking on that you think you've got a laser focus on, and you think is your destiny because you chose it. Think again, That's really what this is. It's like so many of us go like, I'm doing this, fuck you, and we go off on
and Yoda doesn't
crusade.
really want anything to do with it because he knows whose son he is.
Yeah.
Because look at that, right? So there's the fucking lizard crawling out.
The lizard crawling out.
So many other movies just wouldn't bother do that.
Yeah.
That shot without the lizard is great. With the lizard, it's fucking brilliant. And there's constant like that in this movie. There's bits of business going on. Look, snake, it's a snake.
Yeah.
It's not the first time. Like all that kind of foreground, that kind of soft focus.
So much parallaxing going on because there's all this stuff about it. It's brilliant. Yeah, no, it's and it's probably not that big a set either, but it's just all that stuff in the foreground.
Because Return of the Jedi doesn't have this to the same degree. It doesn't do it.
No,
agreed.
As much. Yeah,
I think this is a Wells tree, right? Empire.
I think so.
From what I understand, the stage they built Hoth on, which I think was at Elstree, is now a Tesco.
A big part of Elstree got to, because you got BBC Elstree, which is across the road, and then the sort of Elstree where you had all Superman 4 and this, and I think some of this was done at Shepperton. I want to say,
someone will know
anyway.
Someone will know.
So you look at this stuff, it's like,
see, this is a good example of this is taking 24 frames and slowing it down.
Yeah.
On purpose. Because people use that as slow-mo in action scenes, it looks like dog shit. But this, it adds to the kind of weird dreamlike, well, I assume it's on purpose, they're kind of strange, and it's really kind of low shutter speed as well. So it's kind of, all the light kind of smears, it blurs, it just creates that dreamlike thing.
What's brilliant as well from a storytelling perspective is like, you're suddenly giving the audience what they wanted, but in an abstract way. And it's like, and you're kind of giving him what he wanted. But it's, do you know what I mean? Again, it's that sort of fourth wall breaking meta thing of saying, we know you want this. We know this is what this film is inevitably building towards. But here's what it really is, It basically foreshadows the ending, which is that, he's the invader, by defeating quote unquote Vader.
Yeah, you'll become him.
You become him, and yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is great. This is good. So this... The lineup of bounty hunters. This is great. This is good, manky Star Wars-ness. Like, it's just like, oh, look at these freaks, and there's droids, and it's just like, oh my god. Of course, Boba Fett's our guy, but
but it's that them having to do this horrible business with these scumbags. Yeah, who they've had to welcome into their thing. One of them's just a tin can with shit on his face. It's so good. He's just like, because that's what the droid in Solo, in Mandalorian. Is it Mandalorian? Yes,
Yeah,
yes, in Mandalorian.
They're called. So that one's called IG-88. They're called IG droids, and they're assassin droids. So
right.
What's his name? Kiwi guy plays one in Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
You know who I mean? The director who's everywhere now. Taika Waititi, who played him in Mandalorian. It's great. And there's the other one. There's a protocol droid with like a fly's head that's also an assassin, which would be the worst assassin ever, but that's why it's fun.
Yeah.
There's a guy covered in bandages, a fucking lizard.
I do think at the moment The Mandalorian is probably the only bit of Star Wars that I really give a toss about.
Yeah, it's been great, hasn't it? It's been great.
So good.
I'm happy to have been won over. I couldn't get into Andor, and apparently it's the best Star Wars ever, but I just couldn't get into it. I found the first episode. My litmus test is if I've just been continuously looking at my phone. I know that's bad, but that means I'm bored.
Well, that's what these things have to contend with now as well. Once you bring cinema and entertainment into the home, it's like you have an awful lot you've got to contend with, and it's like, well, this is what shows have to do, but some do it.
Yeah, of course, all the time. Like The Last of Us.
Yeah,
you. My God, what a show!
Basically, Pedro Pascal in anything.
Yes,
you'll win. I mean, the dude. Look, fair play to the guy. I mean, the dude is cleaning up, and I think he's doing it. He's doing it brilliantly. I mean, it was one of those kind of like, where did you come from? All of a sudden, he was like the next big thing, and it was like, I think it was the Kingsman sequel where I was first like, who? Like, all of a sudden, it was going like, he's really important. I was like, is he? What?
I caught the end of that on TV because I watched that when it came out. I was like, fuck, that's Pedro Pascal. I didn't know who he was when I watched this.
It was I mean, I hated it. I went to the
dreadful.
cinema.
It's an awful film.
Terrible film. But I was like, they really seemed to think, he was as important as Channing Tatum, and I was like, right, I don't know who this is. And then, like The Mandalorian, it's such a great way to be introduced to him, really, through something like The Mandalorian, because you're like, well, I never see his face, so that makes his face really important. So when I see it, I'm like, oh, fuck.
When you get your once a season look at his face.
But the thing is, it's like certain people like that, I kind of see it as, through the prism of my own career, I kind of go breaking through. Same thing with John Hamm, right? It's like breaking through in your kind of 40s or your like late 30s, essentially. You're much more interesting. You are. All these people in their young, when they're really
doing
young.
A Rickman.
Yeah. Well, Alan Rickman's another one. It's like, it's like, you're not sorry, young people, but as an old person, it's like, you're not that interesting, unless you're Luke Skywalker, unless of course there are compelling stories to tell, but you're a cipher for something. I think if you want to be an interesting, a world-weary, interesting character who can carry weight and not say anything on screen and being compelling on screen, it's like you need some world weariness. I'm not saying that you don't cross a magic fucking barrier when you're of a certain age. That's not true. Some people can do it younger, some people have to do it older, but Pedro Pascal is a really great example of someone who's just like, now he's just magnetic, and
he's amazing.
He's fantastic.
So I'm really anticipating The Last of Us is finally getting released on PC soon. And I'll do a stream of it, right? The Last of Us is just one of the best games ever. I love it. I played it when I had a broken leg. I played it through twice because there's a pile of PlayStation games. And The Last of Us was so good and so much better than the rest of the PS3 games I had. I just played The Last of Us twice. It was that good.
Yeah.
And once or twice I've dipped into just watching some Last of Us cutscenes to remind myself how the game goes. And no respect to the voice cast in the Last of Us, who are wonderful, but I was like, oh, I wish Joel sounded like Pedro Pascal. Because he's just like inhabited that completely. Like he's completely taken that role, man. Like, and Bella Ramsey as well. She's fucking awesome. But anyway,
they're all they're all isn't what's his name? I'm sorry.
Diego Luna.
Thank you.
Yeah,
he's great.
The erstwhile Terminator Diego Luna.
Exactly, Diego Luna. I like I say, I mean, my litmus test for it will be, please don't lean into the zombies. Don't make it essentially The Walking Dead part. I don't want that.
I think they're probably going to stop when they run out of game. I would have thought.
Right.
There's only 2 games, so I'd imagine they stop when they run out of game. I don't know if they're going to announce a third game
I would hope so. I mean, what would be nice? See, here's the thing. I think if they can get, which they seem to be doing. I'm sorry, we'll go back to Star Wars in a minute. But I think this also relates to Star Wars. I think the thing was something like The Last of Us, because of where it is. It's like, look, when you run out of story, stop telling it. Go do something else, and you don't have. I think what's starting to happen with streaming. Actually, we noticed this recently. Like, we watched the latest season of Clarkson's Farm, and that's taken more than a year to come out. And I think when they realise that there's enough out there for people, and we don't have to release these things on a religious schedule, and we can take our time and tell the story as it needs to be told. That would be the dream, right? If they went, look, we've run out of game with The Last of Us. When they do another one, we'll just pick this up whenever we can. We'll go again. That would be the way to do it.
HBO thing, I hope it is, because I mean they did Chernobyl as well with the BBC, and that was just like, they're not going to do Chernobyl 2. Chernobyls. James Cameron's going to come and do Chernobyl.
James Cameron, Chernobyl. The Queen reactor. Yeah.
It says one bigger.
I would say this, though. The way you do that, though, is you make sequels that are really about other disasters, right? You go.
It's like, The Terror did one about Japanese internment camps, but I don't think they did very well for them.
Oh, really?
Because they couldn't do The Terror. But The Terror was fabulous. Another thing.
I didn't know. I'd never even heard of it.
Our first series of Terror, with Jared Harris. It's fucking superb. It's so good.
Oh, okay. I must check that out.
Anyway, Star Wars.
Communism bad.
Yes. Back to the Star Wars.
Sorry, yes.
No,
Fascism bad.
Fascism bad.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Choking bad if you're not into it is what we.
Did you get his consent?
Yeah. Someone's done a meme of like, remember the guy who Vader chokes in the first movie? Like, he's doing that and he just says, "Harder, Daddy," and Vader's like, "What?" And the guy's like, "What?"
Amazing.
I can't remember this guy's called. This Admiral, because he survives to Jedi, doesn't he? And he gets blown up.
Admiral Viet or
Admiral Piet,
something like that. Yeah.
Because
he promotes him here, doesn't he? He goes, "Don't let me down again, Admiral." He's like,
yeah, I mean,
as you were, do a thing. Scrambled eggs, bye.
Scrambled eggs. It really is the most toxic work environment.
Well, yeah. But what a great way to
chokings.
Well, yeah, but that's the point, isn't it? Like, you don't quite get that in the first one. Like, he does choke the guy in the boardroom.
But like, he's not just murdering subordinates, is he? He's kind of
no. Yeah, it's not like when someone fails him, they die, and then he moves on.
And it feels a bit like now Tarkin's gone, Vader himself's moved back up the chain a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
Chewie's big hairy arse. Yeah, you could just turn 3PO off, right? Like, it's.
Well, and Anthony Daniels as a physical performance, I think it's great. It's like it's.
Oh man, for sure, right?
Because all that shit, like it's also like on the day in the moment, like knowing what's going on. And he's still there in the background, like just dead. He's been turned off, and they're having an intimate moment. And you've got the glow of the screen on their face, like you said as well. The depth of lighting, and I don't just mean like the way everything's.
This is on a real Dutch as well.
Yeah,
because they have fake gravity, but this sells that they're stuck on the back. Like, there's no reason for anything shot in a spaceship to be up the right way, but it's just, the Dutch there just sells that they're stuck on the back of the.
100%. It's just knowing the story you're telling and knowing how to tell it.
Hey everybody, these guys are on the Star Destroyer.
Hi, this is the see they're the release there, and that's how they show the release, right? You don't even see it.
Lovely bit of stuff. There's so much texture. There's so much filmmaking to this. There's so much film language, and I think that's what's lost. I get so irritated with people getting bogged down in the lore. Look at this as a film. Look at it as a piece of cinema, as a piece of craft. It's fucking brilliant. Like, it's so clever, and there's so much stuff that's just not in other movies. And I love that. Like, this is because what's great about this, right? I'd never seen this before. I'd never even imagined this, that they would pretend to be junk and go through. They did
Well,
the Astro
but the double jeopardy of it all, which is that you think your protagonist is so clever, and then there's what's that slave one? Isn't that what the
Slave
Boba
one?
Fett?
And we know
His
nothing
ship
about
looks like a
him.
piece of junk, and then
Yeah.
it comes alive, and it's like, oh, he was smarter. He knew they'd hide somewhere, and he just disguised himself as a piece of debris until he saw them, and then he was like, right,
We know
takes
he's a
one to
bounty
catch
hunter.
one.
We know he's got he's a bounty hunter, and he's got a reputation for disintegrating people.
Yeah,
That's all we know, and it's like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, who is the? It's
Well,
your
exactly.
man with no name or whatever. It's your kind of Western, or your Lee Van Cleef or whatever.
he's an outlaw, and Han Solo is an outlaw, so he knows how to think like an outlaw. So
Yes.
it's like he goes, right,
Yes,
I know
yes,
where
yes,
they
yes.
are, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to think outside the box. The fucking the Empire, they think like fascists basically, and they're like order and this, that, and the other. And it's like when they get rid of their junk, they just float away, and it's like, right, well, I can think like a fucking smuggler, isn't it? Han Solo's a smuggler.
Smuggler, yeah, he's a smuggler, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's
great.
brilliant. It's brilliant. It's brilliant, man. It's so good. This is what I mean. It's like I just find, and this is an exemplar of it, or a it's exactly what modern retellings or reinventions of these things get wrong. Is they draw the wrong conclusions from these films. It's like, oh well, it's like the Zack Snyder. Deadpool was an 18, so Batman should murder people. It's like, what?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
what
that's
are you talking
not
about?
The lesson, not the lesson.
It's not the lesson, mate. And it's like, and it's the same thing with this. It's like, oh well, it's dark, and he says, "I am your father," so put that in everything. It's like, you spreadsheet, you fucking idiots. It's like, but this is, I honestly, as a filmmaker myself, as a producer, as an actor, it's like, I get so irritated by. I understand these things have to make money. They have to be a commercial enterprise. They have to be. There's no getting around that. You can't just.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course it does. But there is a handoff between, aping or parroting things from something else just blindly, and and understanding why those are what they are and why they work, and it's things like Marvel, for example, seem to be getting that right for the longest time until they didn't. It's like,
Yeah,
and
I
guess
kind
until
of feel like I wonder how long it's sustainable.
yeah, I guess
know?
it's people like Jon Favreau, I think, get it. I think it's when people come in and go like, right, just say that again. It's like, there's not what the point wasn't that,
Yeah. I
I
just think they couldn't keep that up forever. Nobody could. It's just in a way. It's
no.
just entropy,
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
Yeah, 'cause those have
absolutely.
become. I used to think
Yeah.
that they were very. There was a time when they were unfairly kind of maligned as generic, and now I think they're fairly maligned as generic, because I just think they've become increasingly kind of safe. Well, there was a time when Marvel was doing some weird, risky shit, and it was kind of cool. And I still watch them, and they're a mixed bag. And every now and then I watch one and really enjoy it. I'm not. I've said this before. I just think going like, well, I don't like the popular thing. That's not clever.
Yeah,
Like,
contrarianism
it's
is not in and of itself a sort
it's
of
not
valid
clever.
argument. I think the thing with the Marvel stuff is that I've never been like, I want this to fail. But I've kind of, it's spread itself so thin. I just find it very hard to kind of.
I've enjoyed them for the longest time, and there are ones that I still love and will watch. But they're a load of fun. But I just think I've got to a point now where it's like, it's kind of like why I didn't like Marvel Comics as a kid. Like, I don't care about Beeswax Woman, or you know what I mean, like Kneecap Man, or whatever ninth list fucking character are going to be the new Avenger. I just don't care. And I found the movies made me care about Captain America and Iron Man and stuff, all these characters, because in comics, like, Marvel never did anything for me, and the movies made me care, and now they're all gone, and they're trying to make me care about, Biro Man or whatever, and it's like, okay. It's a 2.5 hour movie starring an actor I've never heard of, or someone I hate. Sorry, no, because I don't wish them bad because I've enjoyed them so much for such a long time. I love fucking Endgame. I've got this where I can put on Endgame whenever I like because I love a big time travel heist, or a time travel movie in general. But like, well, you like them because you're stupid, and it's like, no, that's reductive and ironically quite stupid.
I think we're at a stage where it's kind of like people. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The internet's like, look, everyone can have an opinion and everyone can publicize it, but it's kind of like that doesn't make it clever, or or informed, even particularly. I don't know. I think what people crave is the ability to articulate what they think about something or what they feel about something, and that's what's sorely lacking with a lot of this stuff. Is it's kind of people go, well, that was obviously stupid, and it's like, was it though?
Yeah, was it though?
That's not it's not a particularly articulate way of phrasing it. But
how rude!
Yeah,
sorry, I love it.
Idiota.
How rude!
Yeah, idiota, which means fuck your mother, you piece of shit.
So it's space for suck a shitty cunt. That's exactly what it said.
All right.
Sorry, I just tried to think of the rudest thing I could in a hurry.
I was under pressure.
I panicked. I must say, so the digital. I'm going to quickly swerve away.
Look at the scale of that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's nuts. No, the full size X-wing thing is fucking nuts.
Oh, sorry.
But in Cloud City, like the digitally added windows, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I could do that now in After Effects and Premiere, and I probably couldn't do it well. They did that in 1997, and it looks pretty fucking good. Like there are a few kind of like lines around them when they walk past them, but it looks pretty fucking great.
I think the thing is, if you saw that and had never seen a different version of Star Wars, you wouldn't think twice about it because it's sort of like it's just there, it's throwaway.
Yeah,
but I think what rankles is like when we did with the first one. It's like when suddenly they're going into Dagobah and not Dagobah. This is Dagobah. What am I talking about? What's the despot? What's the fucking Mos Eisley? Mos Eisley.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay.
When they
all
go
the
there,
fucking rubbery dinosaurs. And
it's
stuff,
full of rubbery dinosaurs and stuff, and you go like, well, what's that for?
Sorry, Alec Guinness's appearance here. I've always thought he looks like he just got out of bed. And it really reflects the whole Alec Guinness wasn't into thisness of him in Star Wars. Like, he doesn't look happy to be there at all, and he looks like he's just woken up.
The thing is, at this point, he knows what a fucking cash cow is. It's like, why isn't he going like, I'm here? Like,
where's my money? I mean, the Force or whatever.
Whatever. Shut up.
Shut up.
I may or may not have been drinking.
Don't worry, I was. Anyway, what's going on?
I cannot interfere. I can only watch and wank from the spirit realm.
Here's my friend Ian Fleming.
The ghost of Ian Fleming. Hello.
Hello, I'm Ian Fleming. I'm pissed off my tits.
I'm an author from the future, because this is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I guess.
Misogyny or whatever.
whatever.
I'm not sure who did this, but it must have been a woman, you see.
Was it a woman's fault again? I told you, Ian, it's not always women.
It's those lesbians again.
It's
lesbians. Because they like women, and they are women, and that's quite wrong.
That's quite wrong.
Dude, he had a big problem with the gays, but especially with the
Did he really?
The lady gays, yes.
The lady gays.
He's not a nice man, but he.
Well, it's been a bit like because
like he made a thing I
editing.
love, which is Well, I guess it's like I quite like Volkswagen, and Hitler made that. So
Hitler made Volkswagen.
I drive an Audi, and that's an offshoot.
Designed the VW.
I'm a fan of the 911, and that's based on the Beatles.
He wasn't a good painter, but my God, did he know his way around car design?
He knew how to make a car for the people.
Well, like at the moment, there's this big thing about they've been editing Roald Dahl books as they go into school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Roald Dahl really didn't like Jewish people. I think they're a big. If you've got an issue with Roald Dahl, it's not really about how he called people fat. You might want to look up what he said about Jewish people. If this is a real issue with Roald Dahl, you might want to pull that thread. It's not that he kind of used the word ugly in his books, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of censoring the author in retrospect like that, because I think it's like, well, you need to let the works be what they are and just educate people on who, you know.
I'm just saying he's a cunt. Like
he probably is a cunt, you know what I mean? It's like Ian Fleming clearly was a cunt, but it doesn't mean that they don't make things that are sort of celebrated in different ways, you know. But I don't think it. I think it's smart.
I think it's selective when it people are selective about when it bothers them, and that annoys me. It's kind of like, Michael Jackson could be a paedophile because we like his albums, but Gary Glitter, whoa, no, what a monster.
Obviously those are two. I agree. I mean, but yeah, I know. But
there was no conviction with Michael
That's
Jackson.
The thing. One
That's a huge difference. There's a huge difference.
And one's dead and one isn't. But you know, I get what you mean. Yeah, I take your point. I think. Like I say, I wouldn't. I think the good thing about something like James Bond is that though he was born of an era and someone whose views I do not share, I sort of think it's been sort of over time massaged and sort of
it's grown beyond all of that.
And also what's good about it, I think the thing is it's still spoken about in the terms of, but he's a misogynist. It's like he hasn't been for a while. He's not really a misogynist. He's
so
a
much
reaction.
as he's dead.
Well, so much as he's dead now, but also like the Daniel Craig part, he like his experiences in Casino Royale didn't make him a misogynist. It made him untrusting of certain women, you know, or certain people who had who were exploiting him, and it's kind of that's an interesting thing to explore and a different way to go. That isn't just drawing the sort of boneheaded conclusion of all women bad. It's like that's not what we're doing here, you know. And else it's produced by a woman, you know. It's smartly written. I think it's smartly put together now, and I don't think you can really say that.
Like Phoebe Waller-Bridge was on the last.
Of course, exactly. So I don't, you know, come on. It's like I think these things can be readapted without butchering them and without destroying the things that people love. I think people need to, you know. So I'm using Bond as an example, but I mean there are plenty of Roald Dahl's another one. It's like the thing you loved about it wasn't the anti-Semitism or the misogyny. The thing you love about James Bond isn't the misogyny. It's that relatable thing of not trusting people, or not letting people close to you because you've been burnt before. That's what's relatable.
Well,
and they're not jettisoning. They're not
beyond Fleming by quite.
Well, they're not kicking that out either. You know that, and I think that's what Fleming was writing about. He just didn't. He wasn't nuanced enough to couch it in those terms. Yeah, he wasn't nuanced enough to say, well, actually, this isn't just women. It's just anyone. You know, when you let people in. And Ian Fleming was not. Actually, he wasn't. It's a very complicated thing. He personally.
I don't know anything about Ian Fleming.
He was a philanderer. He was not a loyal person, and I think that's what really comes across in the writing. I think it's not that I think he's misunderstood in some ways. But I also think you still wrote it for fuck's sake. But I think he also wrote to a person who he thought existed, who perhaps doesn't or didn't. There's all sorts of shit in that isn't really, some of his most trusted counsel were women, and he related a lot to women. And I think the thing for him was it was more a thing about letting people in and trusting people, and that's what James Bond is all about, and it's not just women, though that's an easy way to talk about it from a male perspective because it's about letting people in and all that kind of thing. Anyway, this has been my TED talk. I just but that's the point. I think it's to sort of go let's not. I mean, what was the thing? What was the thing recently people were talking about where they were like, oh god, what was it? It'll come back to me. But it was the thing about, like I've said a million times, depiction doesn't equal endorsement. Yeah. And I stand by that. Yeah, I think you need to be able to depict abhorrent things in order to talk about them. And the problem James Bond has, I think, because of things like product placement and that kind of stuff, and other films do as well, is it's like, well, because you're trying to advertise things off the back of it, you're de facto endorsing the habits or behaviours of the protagonist, and it's like, well, you're not, but I like get James why Bond you would draw that
vodka
conclusion.
From a corner shop.
Drowning tramps in a canal. Drowning tramps is cool now because James Bond done it.
Drowning tramps in the canal.
Yeah, right. DTIC. Detect.
3PO was exceptionally rude there. He called him a flea-bitten mop head. It's like, motherfucker, he's trying to put your head back on, you shiny piece of shit.
He would just be like, rip his fucking head off.
He's not even that nice, Chewie. He's a shit friend. Don't worry about it. R2's clearly the cool one.
I love this bit. It's like, lay here on this giant slab that came out.
I love this though, because this is what being dark is. Like, they didn't even ask me any questions. What's not dark is just playing Rob Zombie really loud and having someone's dick torn off. That's just juvenile. Like, you know what I mean? Like what you were saying earlier about people not kind of getting the message. It's kind of like that's all implied. He goes to a torture machine, then he says they didn't even interrogate him; they just tortured him.
Yeah,
you know, it's really fucked up.
I love the fact as well. Like, and again, like you talked about the sort of one take of it all. It's like hands brought through one door that you assume to be the one door in that room, right? Because it's kind of a cell, and he's put on the slab, and then the camera settles, and then it's revealed there's a door behind that. And Leia gets brought through that door. And it's about saying, you know, you could say this is about talking about these characters being from different classes, because he's brought through one door, she's brought through another.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And she's just sort of walked in, and she walks up to him, and, you know, she doesn't look dishevelled at all. And it's it's just a nice way of doing it. It has a very Ken Adams sort of design, because you've got the top-down lighting through a grate. That's very Dr. No. You know, it's got that sort of thing going for it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I love all this shit, man. I love all this shit. You know, it's just so brilliantly done.
I think
just visual storytelling. That didn't have to be in the script. She didn't have to walk in and go, they didn't rough me up because I'm a princess. Anyway, how are you? It's like, you didn't need that. Yeah. You know, you can infer that from what you're shown. And then here you are in the bowels of the machine.
And you see Vader from looking up at him.
Yeah, there's the tungsten and the teal. And I mean, this is a classic set, right? You've got this horrible hot orange burning through the blue. There's sort of abyss behind it as well. It's like, because there's that moment where doesn't he kick Vader off it, and then he jumps through it, and you go like, where are they going? Like, what's the level below that? It looks, because you're in Sky City.
Vader starts pulling bits off it as well.
Yeah,
them around. Like,
yeah. I love all that. It's so good.
I think this is the thing. I think we talked about this before, but like, so, you know, there is one lightsaber fight in this, and there's one lightsaber fight in Return of the Jedi. And they're both like really, really meaningful. They're motivated by character, and they're couched in visual storytelling, and they tell us things about their characters, their relationships with each other, and what the stakes are in the wider story and in their personal stories. And I think quite often, like the prequels, like the Duel of the Fates fight is incredible in Episode 1. It's amazing and it's meaningful. But you get into like Attack of the Clones, and there's lots of like people just running around with glow sticks, and it's like they're just hitting each other's swords because it feels cool to them or whatever. Whereas this has real kind of I think more so in Jedi, and I think we talked about that, but that kind of fight at the end of Jedi is so meaningful to the characters and everything. And obviously the thing you're saying here is Han's being sent down to hell, right? Because the room is blue and the kind of smoke looks like flames. It's orange light emanating from beneath, and he's sent down. So he's cast down into hell. That's what we're saying visually. It's not a terribly subtle thing. It's not a terribly original thing, but it's important to this story. You know, and we've been given lots of reasons to invest emotionally in the relationship that these two have. And, you know, Han is cast down into hell by the evil Black Knight. Like, come on, you know, it's nothing subtle or original, but it's great. It's a good visual story. So it serves this story, and it puts us emotionally and kind of narratively where we need to be. I love you, I know. We've all seen it before. It's cool. It's because he's a cool rogue and also a bit of a dick. It's just basically the not texting back of space. Yeah, see, Nick Nolte played one of those guys in Mandalorian, didn't he? Like Ugnaught.
But it's much more interesting. But it's more interesting to have him go, I know. If he said, like, I love you too, it's like, well...
That was it.
Where's the tension?
This is something that Harrison Ford fought for, and then a test screening supposedly won that over. Supposedly. This has got IMDb trivia section written all over it, but the story apocryphally is that...
You can read it like, oh, he's a prick, and all right, maybe he is, but from the storytelling point of view, it's like it's much more compelling to have him say that.
And just to be clear, I don't think he's doing it to be a prick. He's being Han. Like, that's what... And he is kind of saying, I love you too, but it's the only way he knows how to do it. Like,
yeah.
That's the way I see it, anyway.
No, I agree. I do think that. I think it's his way of, it's his way of saying... And it plays into the whole kind of... It frustrates me because obviously ultimately you find out that they weren't lovers. They didn't end up
Well, this
together.
is what they love to do. It's like we brought back these beloved characters to make them fucking miserable. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Don't bring them back then.
That's more compelling. It's like, no, it isn't.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. You're just trying to be shocking. You've basically drawn a dick on your exercise book.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. Oh, I just... crush one of my knackers. Ouch.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah.
I have a 2-year-old who does that for me.
Toddlers love hitting grown adults in the nuts, don't they?
They certainly do. Speaking of nuts, I need to go for a gentleman's wee-wee. And also...
Gentleman's wee-wee.
I might try and find some...
You have to go to the house to do that. You're going to be
some more libation. Well, I can go to the house or I can go around the back of the office.
That's quite a confession.
Yeah.
I could filibuster, but I'm going to get my... Don't you dare go till I get my water. Hold on.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
You bastard.
You bastard.
Well, Aid Edmondson is in Last Jedi, which is really weird.
That's true.
Yeah.
Go on, go.
Right, I'll be back soon.
Go to Gentleman's Wee-Wee. I'll talk to the
Ciao,
boys.
ciao.
Bye. Now Duncan's gone, let's talk about how James Bond is shit. I hate how he has a car. I hate how he has a suit. I hate how he sometimes has a carnation. I hate how he spies. I hate where he works. I hate his haircut. He's never going to listen to this. That's why it's great. He will never listen to this. So, Empire Strikes Back. We're treating this as live. He's just fucked off. Jesus Christ. I don't know. I've always felt like the special edition of this is basically fine, isn't it? It's basically fine. And the kind of stuff with the windows, there's a few kind of CGI spaceships. It's all stuff that I can live with, basically. I think, I recently... Yeah, I've been watching The Last Jedi in chunks, and I've enjoyed it in chunks more than I've enjoyed it ever as an entire film. I'm not sure I can watch it as an entire film. What I did find legitimately really compelling and lovely is the scene between Luke and Yoda is one of the few things that genuinely really, really works in it. And it's like that's the true burden of masters, where what they grow beyond. And, pass on what you've learned, that includes failure. I think that's a really good, powerful, interesting bit of dialogue and a really great scene. That's why I watched that a few times on repeat on YouTube. I was kind of, this scene's fucking amazing. It's beautiful. I don't know, and I just can't bring myself to watch the last fucking the Rise of Skywalker. Holy shit! Not enough money in the world, my friends. Not enough money in the fucking world. I might do it for a laugh if I'm really, really, really drunk, or if I take up hard drugs. Maybe I'll do that instead. Who knows? Oh, that's a trap, Luke. See, she knows. Admiral Akbar knows. Yeah, this is all. I really kind of this stuff where it all kind of goes white. This kind of set design here, and it becomes more kind of heavenly. It's nothing new. It's nothing subtle, but it's the heaven and hell imagery. It's the descent and ascent and everything, and the concept of trouble in paradise and stuff like that. You lost your R2, you dumb fucker. Yeah, and the design of this, I love how he kind of comes up in the lift. This is when you see the kind of concept art, which I think is Ralph McQuarrie type stuff. Ralph McQuarrie. It's they recreated it so beautifully, like in live action. It's really, really incredible. And I'm one of the few people who actually liked the game Masters of Terra Kasai on PlayStation, because I'm a wrongin. But I really liked it, and I like what I would like to do is just make Vader fight Luke in the appropriate costumes on this level and stuff like that. Because I'm a nerd. I think I just heard Duncan's door go. He must have passed urine. Either that or he's just larking around out there. Yeah, see, that's the shot that gets used all the time, isn't it? It's amazing though, look at it. Like, the lighting and stuff's incredible.
I'm back, sorry.
And that's how I fitted the entire pineapple in my anus. Anyway, so, hey man. Just talking about fun
I'm back for the
stories
iconic moment.
Yeah. I was just saying, there's that shot they use in posters and promos and stuff.
Yeah.
I was just really drinking in how fucking amazing this is. Like
it really is, man.
The set design and stuff. And again, you see that? You see how Lobot and the others intersect from that corridor? Just the sense of depth.
Yeah.
Like, it's so rich. Like, it's so insanely rich. It's just this... just pure fucking cinema. It's so good. I mean, admittedly, there's kind of like a bunch of schlubby looking guys in moustaches just standing around holding their knobs, but...
yeah, but, do you know, it really is an example of, like you say, it's that cinema thing. It's that thing where it's just greater than the sum of its parts. It's a magic to it that is just... You can't... You know, you can analyse it and you can pick it apart and you can say, well, you know, da-da-da. But... Like that, where he's brought to his knees, Leia's looking down at him, Chewie's above both of them. What a great frame, you know. What a lovely.
And it's building on. We've been told how dangerous Chewie is before.
Total power stance from her as well, because she's not turning to him. She's got her. She's still staying. She's just looking down at him. Brilliant.
We understand, don't we, Chewie? It's great. Such a good line.
So good, yeah.
I Dismembered 3PO is so much fun as well, like in the
perfect character moment. Yeah, because he's had all his... He can't interfere with it. He can only interfere through his words. And he's a protocol droid, and that's his thing, right? His language. And so to remove his motability, you know, he can gesticulate and talk. That's it. You know, that's what he should be. You know, it's so... brilliant, all that, and like you say, like that we understand, don't we, Chewie? It's like all that stuff. It's like the economy of language, because the frame is telling you what you need to know. He's on his knees, Chewie's got his hands around his neck, the balance of power has shifted, and Leia's in between them, just looking down at him. And like I say, just even by having her body turn that way, it's so informative about the shift in power. You know, and again, this is what this film. The power in this film comes from words, right? So like, and 3PO embodies or disembodies that by only having words. It's the same thing with like Lando and Han Solo are very much like characters who just get by on their word. They're gift of the gab.
Well, everything we understand about these characters and this universe is undone with the phrase "I am your father."
Yes.
Right.
Luke thought that might would win. You know, all he had to do was be powerful. And he was totally wrong. Yeah,
he wasn't ready, and Yoda couldn't tell him. And it's like 4 words just changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. He points, and it makes it go off, and then Luke zips up just before he can turn around. It's great.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a great effect as well. I don't know how they did it, but it's a really well.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, no idea. It was rotoscoped or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like hacking away. Impressive. Most impressive. Impressive. Most impressive.
One has taught you well. So, yeah, it's just amazing stuff, isn't it? It's kind of just knows what it's doing. The fact that he's cut the pipe and there's, you know, smoke going everywhere. It's like,
and these two never met. He just saw him kill Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I'm sure they met in some fucking comic or whatever. I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's far less compelling. Well, it's interesting as well that he kicks Vader off the thing. You know, it's just,
Yeah, well, I guess Vader's kind of given him kid gloves because he knows who he is and he's got to get him back. But the fact he even manages to kick Vader kind of speaks to. Look at that shot. I love that.
Yeah.
Look at that. And he moves into darkness. What could that mean? But then he's bathed in light. What could that mean?
Well, he's stepping into the light, isn't he?
They do it again and again, and there's that thing in Jedi when half his face is light and dark. I mean, it's not terribly subtle, but it gets us where we need to go. It tells the story we're looking for. You know, without words, without saying.
Well, that's what I said about Silence of the Lambs has that as well. You know, characters stepping from the dark into the light.
Oh my god, the fucking cinematography of Silence of the Lambs. Holy fuck, it's transcendently brilliant.
So good. It's
so
good.
Brilliant. It's such a brilliantly assembled film.
But that's a wonderful thing at the end of that. You know, there's that moment where Clarice steps through a shadow into the light, and that's when Jane Gum becomes. It's when she becomes aware of what's going on. You know, it's like, again, like you said, you could argue it's not terribly subtle. I mean, I would say, you know, upon first viewing, it's not something you would pick up on necessarily, like consciously, but subliminally, you're going, she's literally being illuminated. You know,
it's something that you got to credit Red Letter Media for the phrase. You didn't notice it, but your brain did. It's a very good summation of what's going on.
Exactly that. Yeah.
It's the it's the gravy, it's the spice. It's 100%. Not the protein. It's the gravy. It's the spice. It's the flavour.
Yeah, but without it, you know,
you got a fucking chewy old steak.
Yeah, 100%.
Steak's a bad example. It'd be weird to have spice and gravy in steak. But you know what I mean?
You can make steak without anything taste great, but
exactly.
It's a piece of white fish. It's a piece of cod without anything on it, or chicken. Well, I quite like chicken. Even chicken breast.
Chicken thighs where the flavour is at. Oh my
That's
Lord.
true. That's true. Tom Kerridge, all right.
I love
a
bloody. No, he's Bernard
I love
Matthews.
Chicken's
I
fine.
like bumming turkeys. I do. I'm dead. I'm Bernard Matthews.
Beautiful.
Besmirched the dead turkey magnate.
Sponsor
Allegedly
of the Olympic-sized swimming pool at my university, you bastard.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Because it's Norfolk. Because I was cycling through Suffolk, and I guess it was a factory bus, but there's a bus where the big screen on the front of the bus with the destination merely said Bernard Matthews.
Right.
Like, is it haunted by Bernard Matthews?
I guess it's a sort of Norfolk Disneyland.
If you are,
but with a
not
lot
from
of dead animals.
If you're not from England and also under 40, you might not know who Bernard Matthews is. He owned a large turkey farm in Norfolk and was a kind of turkey spokesman in Britain.
Well, right, two things. It was the abattoiric equivalent of Disneyland. And also, secondly, he is the sort of Dr. Frankenstein inventor of turkey ham, which is
That's
just a
true.
whole other thing. It's like, what
and
the
Bernard
fuck
Matthews
is that?
drumsticks, which weren't actual turkey drumsticks, they were processed turkey moulded into the shape of drumsticks and breaded.
Yes.
And also, Bernard Matthews mini Kievs, as everybody knows, goes on my special Christmas pizza.
Oh, right.
Which I talk
okay.
about as often as I can. I challenge someone to... Yeah, I've done it a bunch, on the stream.
Yeah.
I always post a picture on Instagram or Facebook every year when I have my special Christmas pizza. I put it on YouTube this year and got my well wishes.
Excellent.
So there you go, Bernard Matthews. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about dead turkey magnate and Franken poultry as come from Duncan and I's native East Anglia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Franken poultry, yeah.
That'll be the next thing, is they'll get Pierce in one of these fucking movies, man. Would be great. He would be great.
But do you know what? Pierce, fuck a movie, right? Pierce turns up as some random slimy governor in The Mandalorian. That'd be amazing. It's like when Michael Biehn turned up in The Mandalorian. That was so good. It's the kind of gunslinger enforcer guy. That was wicked.
Yeah, Pierce would be a great sort of just a decadent I don't know, smuggler or empire guy, but someone who sort of just is underhandedly made it work for him, and
slimy aristocrat who works for the empire, right? With a big, because I imagine with a big curly moustache and a fucking
so they could take him out.
Cape.
What's the series? Is it The Sun or whatever that he's doing? That where he's sort of a Western series that he's doing where he has that curly Bernard.
What?
Colonel. Yeah, he's doing this.
I didn't know about this.
He looks like the Colonel from KFC with his moustache. He's got a curly moustache and a little pointy goatee, and that's what they should totally. If they got to grab him while he's doing that, that would be the one. That would be just get him as exactly that. In a
I have no idea. But now I'm down for Colonel Pierce.
Colonel Brosnan. Yeah, 100%, man. The dude. He needs a bit of a. People have sort of mooted this idea that they could do a one and done old Bond, almost like sort of Dark Knight Returns type Bond story, where it's just literally a sort of redemptive story where it's like his Bond, an Elseworlds thing where it's like his Bond in a sort of ride or die mission. You know, like that would be cool.
I'd watch the fuck out of that. I'd
a gunslinger.
Not be thinking it through, but I would watch the fuck out of that.
Do you know what?
Bond.
The thing is, since they've blown Daniel's Bond's dick off to death or whatever, you know, it's just like
to death.
They literally bombarded the guy with missiles. It's like at this point, all bets are off. You might as well do that. You know, if you could coax the guy in, you may as well fucking do it. I'd watch the shit out of that.
They should have done the fucking. They should have done the '60s Tarantino, Pierce Brosnan, Casino Royale, man. That'd have been fucking badass.
It would have been, you know, but I think they just weren't used to the idea that you could break continuity like that, even though Bond never really.
Not how Bond works. Yeah, it also massively is. It's
it's funny, but I just think you know, at this point, it's kind of like I just don't. I'm being drawn into talking about this again. I really shouldn't be, but I'm just kind of like, you know, what do you do now? What are you going to do? Try and establish a new continuity that nets you the same series of films? I just think it's tired. It's tired doing that. You need to come up, if you're going to reinvent it, you need to reinvent it in an interesting way. What with everything that's got Keaton is back as Batman, you know.
All bets are off now.
Ford is back as Indiana
These
Jones.
are all the things that were never going to happen, and they've all came to pass. It's insane.
Yeah.
Nothing means anything now.
Put Brosser in for one more go around. He's the one you can do it with.
I'd fucking love that.
Arguably, you know, he's in his late 60s. It's like he could still do it.
Yeah,
he could still
come on. All these old geezer action movies are happening.
Liam Neeson was like easily older than that, and he still manages to do Taken movies. It's like, come on, do it with the Brosser. Bring him back. Get him to do one final sort of gritty send-off thing for his Bond. That would be so cool. I know they won't. I know I'm just
big time all over that. That would
faffing up the arse. But it would be brilliant. And
faff it up the arse.
Faff it right up the arse.
Right up the arse.
But yeah, man.
Arse.
I think arse. Jason Statham. I honestly think at this point, the thing is, you know, that this is increasingly becoming the way to. This is a perfect example, actually, to bring this back to Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back is an example of a film that over-delivered, right? It took the original one, and if you think about it, like Star Wars was the biggest film ever. How the fuck do you top that? And that they found a way to do it, because they made it so epic in this film, you know, both visually and in terms of the storytelling. Everything is just on another level, and that's what has been, you know, what's been successful recently is, I think what's frustrating is that people read it as nostalgia is brilliant, and it's like, I think the point is that you've established that film can jump timelines. It can literally, you know, comic books are the way to do it, because it was literally done in
film audiences know. We've broken that now. Film audiences know. They know how to do it. They didn't use it was assumed they didn't before, which was dumb, but now it's just everybody knows. They saw Spider-Man No Way From Home. Everybody knows how it works.
Exactly. So, you know, and it's about knowing or acknowledging that they know, you know, they know what's up, and they know, you know, they all saw those films and they all want, you know, So I think, you know, you can do that, and I think that is sort of the next step for James Bond or something like that. Could do that, but I mean, whether they will, I don't know. Star Wars. Anyway, sorry, yeah, but I mean, what I mean is, it's like this was a film that was, I think, one of the first examples of a franchise sort of acknowledging what it needed to do in order to over-deliver. Because I think the first one over-delivered. You know, and the things that have always been successful are ones that deliver beyond their remit. That you know, come in with an idea, but deliver something way above that.
I think the problem is because people think they could do that by design, and I think it's really interesting to watch. Like, I think I haven't watched it in fucking ages, but the first Pirates of the Caribbean is great. And I saw that opening night in the cinema, and it's like, what a fucking pile of fun. What a great film. And then the second and third one, the second one so desperately wants to be Empire Strikes Back, but they just they looked at Empire and Jedi and went, okay, we're going to make one of those, please. And the second and third ones are really fucking self-serious. They're kind of dreary. They're not as interesting. They're not as fun. They're not as funny, and they're not as warm. because they're just so by design, because they really, whereas these weren't planned in the same way, and you see things try and ape it. I think something.
Can I ask? Is this a special edition? Sorry, I'm so sorry. But of that
it's
shot
Disney
of
Plus, yeah. So this is the
shot of the shuttle coming into the hangar
because of the reflection.
That looks but that looks
like
the
thing that stood out to me was the reflection. I was like, how did they do that in 1980?
Well, I'm not sure, because I know they changed the dialogue. So when Vader's walking out, they changed the dialogue to "Prepare my Star Destroyer for my arrival," and I think in the original one he says "Prepare my shuttle for my departure" or something. Okay. Because you never then saw him. He
said, "I like big butts and I cannot lie."
Or you others can't deny.
In the original version. And then in...
when a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face.
Your face.
No. You get sprung, not me. Not me.
Pull up.
Because I have my dick got burnt off in a volcano.
And then he said to Admiral Piet in the special edition, "Face down, ass up. That's the way we like to fuck."
That's right.
That's right. We're doing filthy 90s rap lyrics because we're children. Anyway,
I'm pretty sure that's a special edition.
The shuttle itself
coming into the bay, because I go like. Also, I think like what? So you built that entire set just to do that? For the
it's pretty wild. It's the reflection that got me. It was this really amazing reflection. I was going, could they have done that?
But I remember them changing the. I remember knowing that they changed the dialogue of him leaving Bespin saying, "Prepare my Star Destroyer for," because I think it was like in the original you didn't see him go from point A to point B. Not that it matters at all, because it's quite dull that we have to have that procedural thing, visually arresting though it is, but it's kind of like I'm pretty sure that was added afterwards. People will know, they've already said it in the comments
in the future. Yeah, I don't know. I just saw that reflection. I was like, was that bad? I don't know. This is what Mark and Brad are really fucking good for this shit. They always know.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but they ain't here, right? I think George Lucas probably good for it as well. He ain't fucking here either. But I don't have his number.
Shout out to Brad right now, because he's going through some shit.
Big love.
God bless him. I don't want to, speak about personal stuff, but he is, and everyone send Brad some love.
You're fucked, you stupid Empire pricks. Sorry to bounce off the sincere part into that, but here we are.
No, fair enough.
They're not, though, because they're fine. It's the ending, isn't it?
And what's nice is this is the one thing that gets the hyperdrive working, right? Because the hyperdrive hasn't worked until now. And all R2-D2 does is turn a thing.
Delusions of grandeur.
Oof. And it's just that shot of Piet, like...
Oh, shit. But this is where you see Vader's kind of inner life a bit, because he doesn't react. He just walks away.
Yeah,
right. He could be fucking choking people over the place, but he does a particularly mopey walk as well. He's going, "Sad Vader, I'm sad. I'm sad Vader. I'm off for some Stolford Press and a cry."
Maybe a wank. Shut
up. An iPad, Robo wank.
This ending as well is so sort of. Again, on paper, I think people must have been quite... someone must have pushed back on this, because it's kind of like, it's a very leading ending. There's no sort of...
It assumes there's going to be another one, and I suppose...
As a denouement, it's kind of like... people, I'm sure, would have argued that it was unsatisfying, even though I think it works really well. You've got Lando in Han's clothes. He's literally in Han's clothes.
It's fucking
weird.
Like sat in his chair wearing his clothes.
Yeah.
I did a shit in his toilet as well.
I checked out his jazz mags.
His jazz mags.
We didn't need
put
to know
them in
that.
A crescent on the floor. First thing, you get your shit back lost in the gambling bet, so you wank in your mate's bed.
I used his towel. I didn't even wash it.
Right. On my ass, Craig.
I flossed.
He flossed. This deleted scene of Billy D. Williams flossing with Harrison Ford's dad. His genitals flapping in the breeze. Yeah, no more Star Wars cunts. The end. They recreate that in Attack of the Clones, don't they? They did the same shot with...
Yes, yeah.
It's very subtle. George Lucas recreates that shot he was nothing to do with, probably. Bye.
Dun, 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 dun.
Basically, though.
I mean, yeah.
See, all of these shots, that's a good example of a shot where all the blue detail on R2 is black because all the blue's been washed out in the process.
Right, yeah.
So it's like usually when he's in the X-Wing, he's just totally black because all the blue's been bleached out.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Well, it was the same thing with Superman's costume, right? They had,
yes, because he was
because of that
green,
shit about him looking turquoise. It's kind of, well, they had to do that. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, why not make him turquoise all the time then? Or use green screen? Because, you know, but I get it. You know, it's kind of...
Yeah, there was that was a chemical process, which still blows my mind.
Yeah.
I just find the concept of shooting a film so stressful. And I have done it, and I hated it, and I'll never do it again. It's a dinosaur medium, and it's fine if you're Christopher Nolan and Quentin Tarantino, but the rest of us fucking aren't. I just as soon never touch it. It's an awful
that shot,
nightmare.
there's, I mean, you can find it on YouTube, but that shot of Superman coming up to the Hoover Dam, and he like does that thing, and he turns the corner, and it's just Chris Reeve on an angle, like doing that, and then banking, like literally turning himself one way, and it's kind of like, but there's so much depth to that. It's amazing. You know, it's no wonder that all the effect shots took a year to complete, because it's kind of like you're putting a static man on a blue screen, and like you say, it has to be chemically, you know, you put that through a bath that takes out the blue,
yeah,
and then you film that again. You literally run that through a camera against the plate that you know, it's crazy.
Well, they had to invent all the reasons a man could fly. You know, they made that up. It's fucking wild. Like, they had to invent that. It's just crazy. Oh, that was Julian Glover. I fucking knew it. Michael Sheard was Mr. Bronson / Hitler. Yeah, and you got fucking there you go, John Ratzenberger, Cliff from Cheers.
Nice.
Cliff Clavin.
Clavin.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, it's fucking amazing. It just is. It's one of those films that has no right to be this good. And we were, we were doing this stuff in Britain. American productions were coming here. You know, things like Aliens and this and
Batman and
Superman and all Bond and all this stuff was coming out of Britain, and it was just that era of we can do that. Yeah, don't know how, but we'll fucking do it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's just that can-do thing, and it's kind of. I'm not saying that's been lost, because I do think a lot of that still goes on. It just sort of happens under this huge umbrella of CGI,
Bob
which
Anderson's.
is not as. It's not what people think it is. You know, it's like you still have to shoot a lot practically, but. I think we're still at the forefront of it here, but it's I don't know what the future kind of it's very hard to wow an audience these days. I mean, I say that I don't know that it is. It's like, you know, the for example, the Spectre, but the Bond film Spectre had that thing of breaking the record for having the biggest in-camera explosion for the blow up of Blofeld's base, and they surpassed that in No Time to Die for when Bond is blown up by the missiles. But obviously it's a composited shot, so the explosions that happen were done in a field essentially, and they were technically bigger. I think this is right. They were technically bigger than the explosion in Spectre, but obviously they're a composited shot. They're not used in camera in the way that those were, and so therefore, they don't have the same impact and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, right, okay. but they use more explosives to do it.
Yeah, so they actually staged a more dangerous thing, but because it's composite, it sort of doesn't count.
Yeah, it's and you kind of go and you look at that shot and it looks so composite. It looks so sort of like, well, you could have just put those in post. You know, people would assume all those explosions are just CGI, and you kind of go, yeah, they're not. Those were actually real explosions. It's just weird. It's kind of like, you know, we're so inured to this stuff now that it's like it's very hard to.
One thing we've railed against is that people think you talk about CGI and people think you type into a computer, make me an X-wing, and it just does it. And that's not true. But it seems like that will be true soon, which is quite worrying because we've already got a situation where you could go to Mid-Journey and say, show me Elmo flying an X-wing, and it might be janky, but it's doing it. And think about that in 10 years. Like, once all those things you see of, like, imagine Batman was directed by Brian De Palma in the 80s and someone's on a Mid-Journey gallery of it as still pictures, that's going to be going at 25 frames a second before you fucking know it. Like, and I think that's really going to fuck things up a lot. I mean, it's not like everyone's going to be rendered homeless. We're going to be sucking dick for money, but it does mean that jobs are going to disappear, jobs are going to change, you know.
I still think an underlying knowledge of what the process is still going to be valuable, but I totally take your point.
We better fucking hope so, my friends.
We're going to be ankling before you know. But I think as an actor, I don't feel the worry or the pressing concern quite as much. You know, I don't think that you can replace actors in the way that people think that you still need a performance. You can't tell a computer to perform like a human. Yet. I really don't think yet. Well, but I mean, maybe you can program that. I think we're on the cusp of the kind of S curve, or we might be on the S curve at the moment. I think there's these things. When you create AIs, they are used to develop their own successors, which automates that process, and we may be on the cusp of real exponential growth that is mind-bending. No, Joe would be too sci-fi about it, but I really think we could be about to. I'm not talking about general, because general intelligence is the thing that people fear. That's what causes the supposed singularity. If you're Nick Berstrom, which I'm not, but even the kind of specialized intelligences, and they're not really intelligences, they're kind of bunches of algorithms and stuff. I don't know. I've seen some shit recently, like what I was talking about, the Adobe podcast thing that cleans up audio. That's wild. That's fucking wild. Like, and you apply, you know, the quality of still images that could be created algorithmically, get that going 25 frames a second. I don't know, man. It's, you know, these, and they learn every time when you look at an AI do something wrong, it's like, oh, well, they tell the AI to do this, and it's wrong and janky. It learned from that. It got better by making those mistakes. Yeah, so it would be too depressing, but I think some shit's about to go down, basically. It just frustrates me because I kind of go, like, what to what end? Like, why are you doing this? There's always that compulsion to remove the human element. It's like, go to any fucking supermarket and it's like self-checkout, and it's like, yeah, but people still have to staff it because it doesn't work. You know, and
it's supposed to make our lives better, but in actual fact, it's just doing people out of jobs.
It makes it worse. And it also annoys me that I buy a bunch of shit from you and I'm the one who has to scan it and bag it and do all, you know, what service are you providing me? You know, anyway, but I sort of think, you know, this idea to just, because the human element is always the most expensive, so remove it, and it's kind of like, I just don't think that, you know, filmmaking, what attracts people to, you know, filmic storytelling is not, it misses the point. You know,
what attracts business to film storytelling is profit, and by removing the human element, you make more money.
Supposedly, but then you see this, you know, even with the Marvel stuff, it's like it's dwindling, and that's not even doing it with AI. But it's
cinemas are dwindling. They're still going to make movies, but you're going to watch them at home, and that's really sad. But if the more they automate, the more profit they make. They'll still charge you the same. Don't think for a minute if they replaced every single element in making a film, you'd still pay the same to watch it.
The thing is, though, if we do get to the point where it is like AI is so democratized, so that I can write into it, make me a film about Pontius Pilate farting the Star Spangled Banner.
They'll shut that shit down quick, mate. just like they shut down Napster. It's true. I'm being absolutely serious. Like, the idea of streaming and downloading music was absolute piracy, and now we have Spotify because they've figured out how to monetize it and corporatize it. Like, Napster was democratized; it was free to everybody, and that was the issue. And the idea of downloading music was laughable, and now the idea of owning physical music is laughable.
I think there's a difference, though. Yeah, but there's a difference in that scenario because it's kind of like, well, people had to make and produce that music. Whereas when you're simply telling an AI to do the work or create the IP, that's a different ball game.
Well, this is the thing. I think this is the thing because I think they won't want that because they won't want you. They want you to pay for whatever, and they don't want you making Mickey Mouse. I don't know, bum. A Warner Bugs Bunny. I was trying to think. But I had to think of something quickly that wasn't owned by Disney. There, did you? But
it's interesting though, isn't it? Because all the examples we've come up with tonight of what an AI would do have all been existing IPs. It's all been Spider-Man bumming a T-Rex or whatever, and it's like, but those are things that people own. So technically, if you got an AI to do it, it's still owned by other people.
This is what I mean. This is why I think there will be interventions to, because something like, so for example, ChatGPT, right? Say there's a version of ChatGPT that makes movies. Yeah. They'll create laws. If you look at the early days of the internet, and if you look at Napster, they were legislating to prevent these things or trying to. And it's like net neutrality getting shut down. Thank fuck. Like, people tried to control it, and they failed in some instances, and in other instances they were successful. Someone will figure something out because they don't want you putting their IPs into compromising situations that can then be shared. Because I think at one end of it, like what would be the purely democratized utopian situation is like, I've always really, really liked Batman Forever, but I would prefer that Sean Young was in it as she wanted to be instead of Michelle Pfeiffer, and then AI would make that. Or I want to see, like you say, it's all IP stuff, but I want to see Superman fight, Captain America, and I can't see that in the current. So, and this will make that movie for me based on and I don't think they'd ever allow that. But anyway, let's.
I sort of get why, I sort of understand why, but I don't know. There's a huge transition to go through, I guess. I don't know. If you want to do, I will happily do this as a podcast because it's quite interesting. But this is the end of The Empire Strikes Back commentary. But it's an interesting film to talk about this with, because actually, all the praises we've sung of this film have been things you couldn't do. You couldn't just conjure out of nowhere. These have to be thought of by people, and create.
Yet.
This is
yet. Seriously,
maybe,
seriously.
But I don't know.
I know there's the element of like the human soul and creativity and stuff, but it is, I've tested it. I've had quite a profoundly disturbing experience of testing ChatGPT and playing with a few other AI tools, and just having a kind of bit of a grasp on how these things are developed and what people are working on, and viewing this exponential growth. And I really think it's going to start growing in a way that's going to be really difficult for anyone to track, and soon. And I think there are probably things out there already that have fooled us and we didn't know about it.
Probably, but
I'm not saying in a conspiratorial way, but I'm just saying you've probably read an article, or you've probably seen a picture, or you've probably listened to a song that was in fact generated without human intervention. It was based on machine learning and you didn't know it. And not because, everybody's dumb. We all will have done so, and we will continue to do so.
No, I agree, and but what I'm getting at is it's kind of like, to what degree do we want that? Do we want that? Is that really what? Well,
no, again, because I think it has the potential to take me out of a job. I think particularly the terms of. Because for what I provide, I shoot and edit, right? And you could there are already tools around AI for editing, and an AI, a machine learning algorithm, could look at footage and decide the appropriate beats to cut between two cameras, and could do it instantaneously. I think what's quite frightening is that if you take like ChatGPT and you give it quite a complex thing to do, it does it instantaneously, but it pretends to type it, and that's for your benefit. It's not actually typing it. It's done it in the time it took you to press return. It's written that letter or that essay in a matter of seconds, and it types it out in a way you can read. That's purely for your benefit. It's not actually generating it in front of you. It's already done it. And it's not always right, and these are the early days, right? We're just into the ChatGPT or the Bing bot or the Google bot, and you throw these things at them, with frightening speed, but not necessarily accuracy, because it's early days. And like I said, every time it fucks up, it learns from that, and every time you put out it learns from that, and it gets better. Right? So if you think those kind of mid-journey generated AI pictures, they're uncanny valley and they're creepy, but they get a lot right. In terms of like, because when it's supposed to be an 80s movie, it looks like film stock, it looks like old glass, it looks like kind of 80s style lighting, kind of pre-LED lighting. They look like actors of that era composited. They kind of do, and sometimes they look waxy, and sometimes the fabrics look wrong, but other times they look really, really good. And that's early doors, right? And every time it goes wrong, it learns to do it better. I think in a year, those are going to be astonishing to look at. I don't think it's a good thing, and I think people like we know are very upset about having their art style stolen, and rightfully so. And people are kind of like, you don't go to the arts for commission, you go to a fucking bot and say, do one in the style of this person, and they send it to you digitally.
But it all relies on people having done it first. That's the problem.
Yeah, and people have been doing it first for a long time, and for the last 25 years, everything that everyone's done first has been uploaded to the internet, and all the bot has to do is look at it.
Yeah.
I just honestly think, and I'm not supporting it. If anything, I'm being slightly kind of Luddite about it. I think it's quite frightening. I've honestly found some of the experiences I've had in the last couple of weeks really quite profoundly disturbing. I mean, it was very sort of on an existential level. I just look at some of the stuff that's possible, and I think, well, what are any of us doing here? And this is before we even talk about the concept of achieving general intelligence, which might not be possible, but anything that's self-aware, kind of general intelligence rather than a specified intelligence, because nothing we have at the moment can in any way be considered self-aware or conscious, and it doesn't claim to be. If that's possible, that's scary, because that's beyond our comprehension.
Like you say, though, are we experiencing the thing that, because even in our lifetime, but in the last sort of 100 years, it's like stuff has gone so fast since the Industrial Revolution. It's like growth on a relative scale compared to human existence serfdom was essentially the best you could hope for millennia. It's not like we picking potatoes out of the frozen ground was the best you could hope for a very long time.
And turnips.
Yeah, right. Root veg.
root veg.
And the amount of the fact that you can just walk into a shop and buy everything you need, and you have all the options in you have access to anything in the world basically. Even that is being eclipsed right now, and it's like the leap that's going to happen soon technologically, I think, is so beyond even us or generations who are younger than it. I don't know that those who are creating this have a grasp of what this is going to do.
Well, I think
the
traction engine and the steam engine were the things really that sort of kicked off the Industrial Revolution, right? It was kind of like advanced, it was more advanced kind of smelting, and it was the traction of the steam engine, the mechanization of processes that caused this intense spike that changed the world. I think we might be there. I really do. Because I think when these things are able to improve without us, which they are, I think we might be there. I think we might be at the bottom of some. I really think the world is about to change profoundly.
In all sorts of
ways,
we're also in a point of that. I mean, inexorably we're moving towards World War III, and it seems like I don't know. Like, it's like, well, it doesn't seem like there's anyone really stopping it. I know that people are doing all the things they're supposed to do, and that's fine, but it just seems like we're on this horribly slippery slope. We're just at this we're at a horrible point. And I know that's not what you wanted to hear on a fucking Empire Strikes Back commentary, and we've gone way beyond the credits and all that sort of stuff. But you're right. I think, you know, we're just at this horrible sort of apex of something that's very hard to kind of work out. You know, things seem very out of control,
and you won't.
No,
you know, there's no way, because if we knew how to figure that out, we wouldn't be sat here fucking making willy jokes over Star Wars, be wanking atop a pile of money.
Yeah.
But anyway,
or atop an atomic bomb sailing towards the ground.
Yeah, Slim Pickens style.
Strange Love.
Yeah. I'm gonna end this, Duncan.
Please do, because I'm just gonna.
Thanks for sticking around for this intensely dour kind of coda. To
if Gordon Brown done commentaries,
right? Gordon Brown texture like sun.
More, but with more Vader-like inhales.
Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully not, you know,
tuning out,
slipping into a horrible depression at the end.
Slipping into a hot warm bath.
A hot warm bath with a razor blade. We are Val Verde Broadcasting. You already know that because you're watching this on YouTube, and hopefully listen to it on Spotify as well. You can support this on Patreon if you're really, really depressed. And
AI did not make this.
And AI clearly didn't make this. And we're going to be back soon, aren't we, Duncan?
We are. Absolutely.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Tatty bye, everybody.
Goodbye.